forgot to unmute the microphone. Hi everyone! How are you doing? How is life treating you? Is the audio coming through all good? I don't know, you tell me. Hopefully the levels are all correct and all that, and you can hear me. It's been weird setting up to stream on YouTube instead of Twitch. I'm just going to make sure that I can see your comments coming through too. Great. Awesome. We've got like 50 people here already. That is fantastic. Close that down. How are you liking this song? This is my like favorite royalty-free song. I have to admit to you. Sometimes I just listen to this song like for fun. Like you would hit play on a favorite album or something in Spotify. I listen to this song. Oh man, we got people, loads of people here. Where are you joining us from? And what time is it for you? Ruth, we got a kia ora. Does that mean that you're in New Zealand and it's like really early for you? Surely not. Surely not. I'm really excited for today. This is gonna be fun. Okay. Let's transition to some like more chill music now. How about if we get into the bulk of this? We're gonna play a playlist that anyone who follows me on Twitch is very used to. Oh my gosh, I can't even barely keep up with this chat. There's a lot of people here. This is amazing. Thanks for joining me. Oh, I forgot. I've got to send. Let me send out the email to anyone who clicked the link in my email list. Netherlands, San Diego, Connecticut, Barcelona, whoop, Spain, Cyprus, Serbia, Germany, all over the place. Wonderful, wonderful. Cool. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to do. Let me do that now. What we're going to do for the portfolio review portion of this stream is I'm going to actually have you submit a form. It's going to be very nerdy like that. But it's for good reason. Now, can I actually edit the description of this video while it's going? I am unsure. Let me just figure out how to do that. You might need to refresh. One sec, I'll tell you when, and then you can check it for me. Submission form. Probably should have done this before we went live, huh? I forgot, my bad. Okay, if you refresh the video right now, I'll try not to say anything interesting in the next 2 seconds. You should see a portfolio review submission form. Go check it out. Oh, also I'll post it in the chat. Great idea, Khaled. Here we go. So the reason that I want you to fill out this form, I think that YouTube will like block links that you post, but also in order for me to actually review your portfolio and give you good feedback, I need more context. Like, just straight up, give me a link to your portfolio. Music is a bit loud? Sure thing, we can fix that. Okay, yeah, well, that was way too loud. Jeez, I hadn't adjusted that like I normally do on Twitch. How's that? Is that better? Going good, Simon? Thanks for letting me know. And sorry, I just saw the other people had already said that as well, but the chat was moving too fast. I probably should have arranged some moderators for this thing. Hopefully we're better now. Anyway, what I was saying. The reason that I want you to fill out this form to submit your portfolio to be reviewed, instead of just dropping it in the chat, is because it gives me the context behind the kind of work you're actually looking for. And yeah, what you're actually aiming to do with your portfolio. Now the music's inaudible. Oh God, I overcorrected, did I? Okay, we're gonna meet in the middle. How's that? Also, it was just changing songs, so maybe that happened too. But yeah, fill out the form. It'll give me some context as to what type of work you're looking for with your portfolio. And in the second half of the stream, I will go through the submissions, we'll share screen, we'll like look at portfolios. So hopefully there's some of you here who are looking to get some feedback today. Maybe you just want to show off what you've done, you know, that'd be cool too. I see that we already have several people who have filled it out, so well done for you quick people. Keep on filling that form out. Should be linked in the description. Can someone refresh and tell me if it's showing in the description for you now? I hope it is. Yeah, great. Would I be willing to review an architectural portfolio? I mean, I could try, but I don't know how good my advice is going to be, because I'm never going to be one, like, I don't have any experience hiring an architect, so I'm not sure like what is needed from that, if that makes sense. Yeah. And Hugo, wish I had my portfolio site ready. Will you do this again soon? You know what? I last did a live stream. I was checking as I set up like an email to send out about it. That I last did one last April when the pandemic first hit. This was one of my like, I'm lonely things that I did. And I didn't do another one until now. So yes, I would like to do more of them. Lately I've been prioritizing streaming on Twitch, streaming my work that I've been doing. It's just easier for me to do during the week, but maybe we'll have some weekend portfolio review sessions over here on YouTube. Yeah. What I'm also here for though, like while people are filling out the portfolio review form, and we will jump into them soon, I'm also here to answer any design career questions you have, or like any questions in general. This is office hours, so like I am here to advise you on stuff, like whatever you need. You tell me what you need from me right now for this stream that we have together. Let me know. What are you working on? What are you working towards? Where are you getting stuck in your design career right now? Or what are you feeling frustrated by? What do you wish you knew? I don't know. Or is there something you're embarking on? And you'd be interested to get my thoughts on if it's something I've experienced. I don't know. Share that in the chat. You don't have to fill out the form for that. And I will try and grab questions as they come in. Just scrolling through and checking that I haven't missed any so far. Yeah, there's been a lot of us sharing where we are in the world. Nice. The link will not work in 2 to 3 days. It's just for like right now. The reason I didn't like ask for portfolios in advance or anything like that is because I wanted to make sure that I was reviewing people who are actually here. Yeah, but like I just said, I will hope to do another portfolio review session like this, so if you're here for it, you can fill in the form and we'll do it then. Hugo says your Twitch and Ben Burns 2 design streams for therapy for those, yeah, stuck at home office limbo. Agreed. Ooh, okay, Fernanda, how can I find my superpower? Let's start with this question. I'm guessing you mean like a design superpower? Like the thing that's gonna really be your define you as a designer and what makes you special. I think that it's something that you can't find on purpose. It's something that you discover and uncover from doing work. So I would just encourage you to keep on working on projects and pulling out which parts you feel like you were really proud of and did really well in. Yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be the way to go. I think my superpower is in like thinking about the bigger picture, planning the context for a web page, the conversion rate and all that. I love doing that, digging into the data, doing user research, and not just thinking of a page that I've designed as like an individual page, but in the context of the wider journey and business goals. Focan, am I wearing Daniel Ricciardo hoodie? Yes, I am. And I noticed as I posted to my Instagram feed today, that I've been wearing this hoodie in like the past 4 posts or something that you can see my face in. It's a little ridiculous. I promise that I do wear other things. Just that right now, it's just this. Okay, what else we got going on? I really want to move where this chat is because it's like on the side of my screen. Okay, this is better. Now I can see you better. Okay, working on my networking skills. Nice. That's always a good thing to work on, Karen. You can try it out right here in the chat, just talking to people, because that's all networking is really, is talking to people. 10 years of marketing, finally getting ready to launch freelance does a digital design venture. Nice, that's awesome, Gary. What are top things that can make a design more aesthetic for non-designers? I would say keep it simple. I think sometimes when non-designers try to design things, they'll go overboard with adding graphics, adding fonts and things like that. Just a plain simple like text in the middle of a page can often look better than attempting to use too many fancy illustrations and things like that. Oh my god, I can't even keep up with all these questions. There's so many. This is fantastic. Thank you all for being here and like showing up and being interested in this. I was seriously worried that no one would. Ooh, wait, I forgot to tweet that I was going live. That's important. Let me just go do that right now. Although probably a lot of you came from Twitter anyway. Hold please. So many things to think about. I should put on a more upbeat song while I do this, huh? Where's the link to the video? Okay, that was a shit tweet, but whatever, it's out there now. Okay, back to our you're here from Instagram, you're here from the email. Love it. Yay for email. Okay, I'm going to go back and try and find where the questions are. Maybe I should have made a form for questions too to make this easier. Okay. Where did I leave off? How many projects is too many projects for a portfolio? I would say, I don't know if there is such a thing as too many. If they're all good quality and they're all ones you're really proud of, fine, keep them. But, you know, have high standards for yourself. And I'm sure we'll get into that a little later. I can see we've already got a lot of portfolio reviews ready to be dug into. How do you curate a stellar portfolio when you have such diverse mediums and content? This is interesting. Calligraphy, did you submit for a portfolio review? Because it'd be interesting to see like how you've handled this. And maybe I can give you some advice based on that. But categories is a good start. Paid or free class for beginner who wants to use Figma. Are you asking if you should pay or do a free class? Or are you asking if I have a recommendation for one? I have my Figma 101 video on my channel that I feel like is a good introduction, if I do say so myself, but also lots of other people have said that. So yeah, check that out, I guess. Why am I struggling to find inspo for logo design? What should my mood board be? Other logos? Or I would say the more you get inspiration from sources that aren't other logos, the more unique your designs will be. Because you won't be creating what you've seen before, because what's in your mind will be inspiration from other sources, and you can pull from that. I think that's like a superpower that every designer needs to learn, is how to be inspired by things and take that into a different format, I guess. Any platforms where designers all around the globe can get good quality jobs remotely? Dribbble is good. We posted our design job on Dribbble recently. I don't know if there's any other design specific job boards that I can recommend. Ooh, I have an interview tomorrow for a junior UI UX position. What areas do you think I should cover or focus more? Congrats, first of all, Mohammed. That's great that you've got the interview. What do you know about the company? That'd be what I'd advise, is for you to focus on whatever seemed to be most important for the role, the job description. I still need to make that video talking about like reading through a job description and calling out the things that I would personally focus on if I was going to apply for it. But yeah, whatever is important to the company, what's related to the type of work they do, I would focus on that. But if that's not clear to you, then maybe aim for a good balance of both, so that if it's a UI UX position, they want you to do both. So make sure they know that you're strong in both areas. Okay, what else? Somehow Stream app alerted you that I was going live? How did that happen? Wait, I'm not accidentally streaming on Twitch as well right now, am I? No, I don't think so. Weird. Can I get a job if I'm very good at Infigma and Photoshop? It depends, because just being good at the software is no longer like enough to get a design job these days. Like software in particular doesn't matter much. You obviously need to know how to use the software to bring your ideas to life, but I would focus on being good at design rather than being focused on being good at particular software, if that makes sense. Yeah. How do I feel about sending portfolios as XD or Figma links? Fine. If you can make it a proper website, I think that's better. Not only can people discover you easier that way, but also I've been sent an XD link for a portfolio before, and it was really hard to get around. I felt like it really like squished itself on the screen. It wasn't a great experience for me as the reviewer. So just test it thoroughly, I guess, is the answer. Okay, what else? In case you select my under construction portfolio, be brutally honest. Deal. I will always be honest with you. Yeah, don't submit if you don't like. If you can't handle the feedback, then don't submit your portfolio. Maybe I should have said that at the start. Yeah, but that's also why I asked for the context. You know. Dang, I also should have put on the form like, where are you in your career? I forgot to ask that, because that's always helpful to know as well. Is there a specific design style to be followed for new designers? I said I want my design to look old style. No, I would say like Dribble can show you what designers are doing these days, but also just look at companies that are in the space that you're wanting to work in. Yeah, that could tell you what sort of design styles they're doing these days, but I try not to follow trends as much as possible. Sometimes it's fun to try them out, but you know, you don't want your design to look like everyone else's. Okay. Hipster. What was that a response to, Michael? Okay. Sorry if I'm missing your questions, by the way. If it was important, feel free to repost it, and I'm sure I'll find it eventually. There's just more people here than I expected, which is a great problem to have. Okay. Scrolling. Which is a way to highlight like which one is a question and which is just a comment. When do you think a full stack is too full? Ooh, interesting question, Gary. Okay. Using the Adobe CC apps and offer services most agencies offer, including video production, but I feel at some point it may be too much to offer. Yes, this is a good thing to be aware of, because if you spread your skills too wide, anyone looking to hire you, like, they probably won't consider you an expert in any one of those skills, right? So if someone wants to hire like a one-stop shop who can cover everything, then you'll be a great fit. But like me, for example, if I was looking to hire a video producer, I would look to hire someone who that is their focus. They don't do video production and like design and like, I don't know, all this building websites and all this other stuff. I would feel like, okay, this person is capable at video production, but they're not an expert in it. So I'm going to go and find the video production expert, if that makes sense. So just be aware of that when you're adding to your full stack. And also like take that with a grain of salt. That's just me. So, you know, that too. I don't want to like put you off doing that, because obviously it's working well for you right now. Most effective ways to communicate your design decisions to stakeholders. Okay. Relate it back to business goals as much as possible. Don't like talk about the balance and the like flow of the page and things like that. Talk about how it's going to convert, what it means for the brand, how it's maintaining consistency. I don't know. Back to the business goals is great for getting things across the line with stakeholders, because that's the stuff that they're going to care about in the project, right? And you could customize that based on the stakeholder that you're talking to, of course, and whatever you know is most important to them. And that approach can also be a filter for you to check that you have actually met the needs of the project as well, and that you are responding and like helping out the different stakeholders. Very beginning question. Any advice for really learning the fundamental concepts in your first programming language? Wait, did that question just get deleted as I started reading it? Or did the chat just move? Ooh, I like this song too. Ooh, okay, what is the minimum amount of projects you recommend having in a portfolio? We've all heard quality versus quantity, but how many is too little? I would say you want to aim for like 3 minimum projects. Yeah. That might seem like not many, but I feel like 3 is enough where as a portfolio, like as a reviewer, as a hiring manager, I can look at, your work and like find consistency in the quality throughout and really get a feel for some different styles that you have. Yeah, 3 sounds good to me. When I'm done with office hours, can I post my playlist? Yeah, sure. It is a Epidemic Sound playlist. So I think I've worked out before how to share this. Here we go. I'm going to drop it in the chat right now so you can save it. I think you can listen to it. Yeah. Also, by the way, if any of you here do not follow me on Twitch, then I really need you to go and do that, because I've been live streaming weekly for the past few months. Sometimes it's gameplay, but a lot of the times it is design work. I'm going to post a link to my Twitch channel here. Wait, did that work? It like highlighted my name weirdly. Because yeah, basically I stream as I work on projects, and I answer questions in the chat sometimes too. So yeah, that's a good chance to catch me when the chat's a little bit slower over there too. Thanks, Mike. Mike said it's gold. Okay. Ooh, I love this. Hi, Ricky, new designer, 18 years old. Done some freelance jobs here and there. Where do I go next to jump into the world of design? Great question. Do you have a focus? Like from the freelancing jobs you've done, is there an area that you're most interested in? Because that would be the thing that you should be working on trying to find next, is like, where do you want to focus in design? And to do that, you might need to do even more freelance jobs, or maybe you want to get a job on a team. I think that's always great for a designer starting out, even if freelance is what you want to do long term. Being part of a design team, you'll get to learn from more experienced designers, and that is invaluable. The amount of stuff I learned in my first year at Xero, my first job in tech, was probably equivalent to the 5 years I spent at university in terms of like forming me as a designer, helping me improve my design process and understand the business side of design as well. Fantastic. So yeah, would highly recommend trying to find a team to join, even if you want to do freelancing long term, because you can do that time on the team, get all the skills, and then go build your freelance business. Yeah. Someone asked if I freelance as well. Not anymore. I used to, but I haven't for a long time. I get my fix of designing from my job, and I feel like I want to spend my spare time outside of work, because I work as the creative director at ConvertKit. I want to spend that time, you know, making content, writing my book that I'm working on at the moment, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. When you build a portfolio website, how important is making it fully mobile responsive? Pretty important, Ruth. Well, actually, let me clarify that. Important if you're looking to get a job that involves any sort of digital design. Digital design, web design, responsive site is important, because that's like essential for any like company website these days. Has to work on mobile. Excuse me. So yeah, I would recommend paying attention to that for sure. Any tips for how you can increase skills on UI UX? Practice, practice, practice. Unless you can be more specific about which skill you're looking for. What's the book about? It's a book about marketing design. I'm really excited about it. I'm basically pouring all of my knowledge that I've gained over this decade-long marketing design career into a book that shares all the things that I think you need to know in order to do this job as a marketing designer, brand designer, whatever, to do it well. So, yeah. Any tips to get noticed? Vico asks. Yeah. Wanting to get a job in a remote team in another country, mainly because of salary. I hear you on that. Yeah, salaries in the US are way higher than salaries in Spain. So yeah, I'm happy to be working for a remote company. Tips for getting noticed. I mean, honestly, sharing what you know online, teaching what you know, is a really great way to build a profile for yourself. But you could also look to do things that are related to the company you want to work for, you know? Like, say for example, you wanted to apply for a job at Webflow. You better be in the Webflow community, building Webflow sites and like involved in their forums and like being a part of that, that whole ecosystem, I guess. So you can do that sort of thing to get noticed too. Thanks, Michael, for noticing the Daniel Ricciardo hoodie. Cool. I'm glad that there's people who are looking forward to this book. I feel like, I don't know, like marketing design is obviously it's a niche topic, but you know, we're an important niche, god damn it, and I'm gonna make content for us. Why don't I move to the US? Well, I guess it doesn't seem as bad now that that orange person is no longer the president. But I just don't trust the US a whole lot when it comes to their healthcare system and all of that. I can earn a US salary and live in sunny Spain, so why wouldn't I? Oh, thanks, Sophia. You're so welcome. Freelance websites, Upwork, Fiverr. Have you tried any? Thoughts? Yes. This might surprise some of you to know that I once used, I think it was 99 Designs was the site that I used a couple of times when I was in university. And I wanted to pick up some freelance work. I just I needed some money, you know, and I didn't know how to find my own clients. And so I went on 99 Designs. The first job that I did was laying out someone's CV. I remember this all so well. This is 11, 12 years ago now as well. Yeah, laying out someone's CV. And then the second one was vectorizing this pencil drawing someone had made of a logo. And I didn't do any design contests. I did the ones where it's you submit and then the person accepts you to be their designer. You just submit your portfolio or whatever, and they choose you to be a designer. They pay 99 Designs, and then 99 Designs releases the money to you when you finish the project. I didn't get paid for that second project, the one vectorizing the logo, because the client was like, no, this is not what I want. And I was like, but I did literally what you asked for. And I even did a round of changes, and they were like, no, it's still not what I want. And I didn't get paid. 99 Designs wouldn't give me that money. And it was only probably, I don't know, $50 or something. But when you're a university student, $50 is food for several weeks. And so that sucked. And since then, I've just not trusted those sorts of freelance sites. I think that there's ways to do them well, but on the whole, the site wins. Clients lose out, designers lose out. I just would not recommend getting started on them. I think it's better to, if you're looking for freelance work, reach out to the kind of companies you want to be doing freelance work for. Reach out to businesses that are local to you or that are online that you see have a gap that you could fill with your design skills. So much better way to get freelance work than those sorts of sites. They're optimized for the site to make money, basically, not for you to make money. And it's not a good experience for the client either, for them to be encouraged to do a design contest. We all know as designers that is not a way to get good design work, right? So yeah, I don't know. I've got to remember to drink throughout this or I'm going to lose my voice. So remind me every now and then. Freelance sites are race to the bottom. Exactly, Raymond. Exactly. Oh, Rashid, I'm so sorry to hear that that's happened to you as well. But also, good to know that it wasn't just me. While I was telling that story, I was not reading the chat and looking at questions. My bad. Personal website or shareable PDF portfolio? Depends on the type of job you're going after again, but I would say website is best. I think any designer who is resisting knowing how to design a website, even if it's just picking out the right Squarespace theme, whatever. Web is everywhere. Web is so important. And I would try and focus on it. I know that some people have NDAs and things like that they have to get around, but yeah. How important is, I lost the question, are language skills for a design career in the US or international teams? Should my English be perfect? Doesn't have to be perfect, but you definitely do need to be able to communicate efficiently in English, Maria, if you're looking to work for an English-speaking company, especially if it's remote. Because in a remote company, a lot of communication is done through written communication. Communication is done through written communication. You know what I mean. So you need to be able to express your thoughts in written English. And then meetings and things will happen as well. And so spoken I would say has probably come secondary to written. when it comes to a remote job in terms of skills that you need. Ooh, okay. What is the main difference between marketing design and in-house graphic design? I love this question. Okay, so I consider marketing design to be any role where you are designing the marketing materials for the company. So often that is an in-house graphic designer, right? But I feel like graphic design is more of a thing, an in-house graphic designer is more of a thing in companies outside of tech who perhaps don't have a focus on digital as much. Whereas marketing design is definitely a very tech term. It involves doing graphic design, it involves doing web design, UX of the website, as well as like, you know, all the regular graphic design stuff. Digital design, illustration sometimes. It's more of like a combination skill set for tech companies in particular. That's how I define it anyway. That's what I'm going after. How do you make working in HTML and CSS enjoyable? Well, these days I use Webflow. Not because I don't like HTML and CSS actually, but more because I don't like the hosting side of figuring out a website. All of that is just so complex to me, and Webflow just makes that easy. Yeah. Oh my god, Julia, you lost your account on Upwork because a client didn't like the work. That's what I mean. Like, they're all like that. I even saw a thing that Upwork has like screen trackers that track that you're actually working when you've said you were. I don't know, just not good in my opinion. Will the stream be available as a replay? It sure will, Eli. It'll just be on the YouTube channel. Ooh, okay. Divianish. Sorry if I said that wrong. SN lockdown phase, everything converts to online. Love to work physical, like set and interactive stuff. What do you mean by set and interactive stuff? So should I switch to digital or still try to find a physical company? Oh, that's tough. I would say that digital is kind of where the future is. But if the physical stuff is your passion, keep working on it, you know? Like, keep going after it, because that skill will still be needed as well. There just might be less jobs, you know? Yeah, I agree, Rashid. The more you develop your skills in HTML and CSS, the more enjoyable it becomes. It's always really satisfying when you figure something out, you know? Like, when you struggle with something for a bit, and you find the right answer on Stack Overflow to copy. Usually how it goes for me. Yeah, that's awesome. And it empowers you to do more, right? Like, it's exciting seeing, like, I wrote this code and it did this thing on the screen. That's really exciting. I really love Treehouse for learning HTML and CSS as well. They made it really fun, I think. What advice can you give a back-end developer who wants to learn web design and front-end stuff? Watch my videos? Maybe talk to the people who are designing the front end of the back end thing you work on. Just ask them about their process, you know? Ask them what goes into their work, and start getting to know how they think and all that. I think that'd be a great place to start. And try some out for yourself as well. Any preferences for a portfolio website, like Squarespace? I think that whatever suits you, honestly. Like, this is something that we as designers way overthink. Like, way overthink it. So whatever suits you, whatever you feel called to, go for it. I think that Wix would be one to avoid. It's just not highly respected in the design industry. You know, maybe they're working on it, I don't know. But Squarespace or Webflow would be better. Or like a Dribble portfolio, yeah. But like, don't let that hold you back from just starting. Any advice on how to get a remote internship with no experience? Oof. I'm afraid I really don't know. That's not something that I've ever had experience with, either applying for or hiring anyone in. You're gonna have to make your own experience to start with, right? Like, you can't just say, I'm interested in doing this thing, someone hire me to do it. You need to be trying it out for yourself first and showing that you've made these attempts. showing that you're learning on your own in order to get that internship, I think. Yes, Epic Jobs is a good one, and Road OK as well. Great suggestions, Adrian. How do you break up your work day to balance sitting at a desk in front of a screen for hours a day? I'm not very good at it, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, that's something that I don't get up enough, but I like to go for a walk. I like to take a pretty long lunch break as well, and I also get started kind of late in my day because I work for a US company, and so most of my meetings happen in the evening. Yeah. But I'm not very good at that, I'm afraid. Get a dog, then you have to have time away from your desk. Great suggestion. Wix is like the pineapple topping of personal websites with pizza. I would say Wix is like the... well, this is going to depend on the country that you're in. But like the fast food of pizza. And Squarespace and Webflow are the ones where you can like, I don't know, they're like sourdough or cooked in a wood-fired oven. That sort of thing. You can pick your toppings. That sort of stuff. Okay. How to keep up with the design trends? Don't even bother. Don't do trend-led design. Okay, I think we have quite a few portfolio submissions now. So I'm gonna start trying to, anyway, let's try and see how I can share my screen, and let's start going into them. Hey, does that sound fun? I think that sounds fun. Wait, now I've popped out the chat. How do I get it back? Okay, there we go. The chat is back. Oh, the cat? Yep. I haven't like posted pictures of them online yet, but surprise, I got cats. 2 of them. And I guess you're seeing them here first. That one there, wait, if I go this way, can you see her? Who's thinking about eating my plant? Oi! Get down! There we go. That's Nora, everyone. Okay, am I a backend developer? Wait, are backend developer better front-end design? I don't understand this question. Okay, let's switch over right now. I hope this works. Yeah, okay, we're seeing Fernanda's portfolio. I'm just gonna put this reminder on screen for a second as well. Okay, so Fernanda is looking for a full-time job as a designer in UX design. So what I'm gonna do as I go through these portfolios and like do this review thing is sort of do exactly what I would do like in hiring, is a very quick overview of the portfolio. When you're basically going through design applications and looking at looking at applications, looking at portfolios, you make a very quick snap judgment as to if this is something that I want to dig in and see more of, if this is something I want to move forward to the next stage. So yeah, we're going to review this, thinking that this is Fernanda going after a full-time job in UX design. We don't know how far into their career Fernanda is because I forgot to ask that on the form, but let's get into it. So I would say first off that I really, really, really like this is a really good first impression. A very analytical UX design. I'm like, okay, interesting. You've sort of put a stake in the ground here, and like it looks nice. This site looks like it's been nicely designed. You would be very surprised at how many don't meet that bar. We might see some, and hopefully I'll be able to give some feedback as to how you can meet that bar. But yes, this looks nicely designed, Fernanda. Let me just turn this off for now so that we can see better. Okay. Renting real estate has never been so easy. Okay, so I'm like, right, Fernanda has done app design. Oh, this looks like a really intense like data project. So overall, looks like they have experience. So I would usually just dig into the next project that interested me the most. So I think I'm just gonna click on this one and let's see what happened. Why is this blurry is my first question. Is that just not loading properly? I'm gonna refresh and see if anything changes. Because my advice here would be, let's make this image not blurry. Maybe it looks different on mobile, I don't know. I'm just reviewing on desktop right now, obviously. Yeah, I'd be curious to know that too, Millie. It was this Webflow, Squarespace, what did you build it in? Okay. Okay, so they were the product designer on the Zap. And I'm not sure if it's like a real... Oh, hey, the image loaded. Interesting. I wonder if it's just too large or something. Not sure, but yeah, that wasn't great. Seems like these are personas, but I'm not sure if they're real people or not. Yeah, create. Okay, yeah. Honestly, I tend to skim past personas. I'm sure like UX hiring people focus on them, but personally I don't really. Okay, so I'm just skimming headlines and I see, cool, so Fernanda evaluated the competitors. That's great. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of detail. Like, it would be cool to see a bullet point list of what the competitors, like where their failing points were, to tell me what you were trying to solve, because, you know, I'm not reading all this text. Okay, iterations, user flows. This is nice, using the animation as part of this. I'm assuming, yep, now that I see what it looks like for the landlord. Cool, okay. So I think that Fernanda laid this out well, and I can start to see, like, I see some nice visual design and I also see UX thinking. So I think that's great. Yeah, going into that. I'm now wondering, like, okay, is there a real life project that Fernanda has worked on though? So let's see, because this, you know, like I said, I didn't ask what stage of their career they're in, so I'm not sure. Yes, this lazy loading thing is not a fun time. And this one looks like it was a real world project. And we have similar, yeah, this is good, pain points laid out. Cool, we have similar, like, I think this is a good amount of detail. I think you don't have too much text in here, Fernanda. And really, like, the headings, like, you could even make them bigger. If anything, I would suggest you make the headings bigger of each point so that I'm clear what stage I'm in and what you are optimizing for with each part of this design. Yeah. Just checking the chat slightly too. Cool. Now let's quickly check out Fernanda's about page. This scrolling thing is interesting. It's not a great UX to have it do that. I'm not sure what platform we said this was built on, but I would look to change that. It's a little bit slow. Cool. This is really interesting, Fernanda, that used to be in industrial engineering. That's like a really cool thing to call out. I think it shows me that, you know, you've made this transition and you're showing me what you learned from that previous career. I think that's good. And like, that would be something that I'd speak to you more about in an interview, perhaps. I would say be careful of leading with empathy as a skill. It's something that literally every UX designer says that they have. If you can point to a story or like, you know, a way that your empathy is different to other people's empathy, then that would be great. Or otherwise pick a different skill to put in there, because like I said, everyone talks about empathy. Yeah. Hopefully that was helpful, Fernanda, but honestly, I think this is pretty strong. Yeah, and that you're going into a good amount of detail with it, so good luck with your design search. using Wix but want to change it to Webflow. You know what? I'm surprised. Maybe I take back what I said about Wix before, because this is a very like nicely designed site. I thought that you couldn't do stuff this good on Wix. So well done for proving me wrong, Fernanda. Maybe they're not quite the Pizza Hut or the whatever of pizza. Okay. Who is next? Are we liking this? Are we enjoying this? Shall I post the link in the chat? Sure thing. Here is Fernanda's website. If anyone is hiring a UX designer right now, you know where to find her. Okay, next up we have... Nope, hang on. Carolina. Okay, so first impression, because you know that's something that we get straight away. First impression is this is cool. Like honestly, that's what I'm thinking. I just saw someone asking about where to submit, so I'm just gonna put this on the screen for a second. Refresh if it's not in there already. This looks cool. I like this moving bit, and this looks unique. Maybe a little bit trend-led with this font here, but it's a personal site, so it's okay. One thing I will say straight away that I wish you had done, Carolina, is had work on the page. Don't maybe click to another page to see your work. Let me just have it right here. Like screenshots of visual identity corporate editorial. I didn't realize, honestly, that these were categories until just now, until I just hopped on them. I thought this was a headline. So, I don't know. Feedback for you, I guess. Something to be aware of. Let's click on visual identity. Cool. So these look interesting. Let's click into it and see what we get. Visual identity. Cool. Oh, hey, I like that you have it written in Spanish too, and that I can understand it, mostly. I want to see more. Like, I want to see... it's great that you've showed me where it is on the packets, but... I don't know, an indication of the type of thing that got handed to the client, perhaps. I forgot to say that Carolina is looking to land either a full-time job or freelance work. So for freelance work in particular, we can give the clients, the potential clients looking at your site, an idea of what they'd get from you by putting in perhaps the brand identity suite, what the color palette was, the fonts that you advised them to use with it, things like that. You know, that could be good. And I also then really want to be able to just click straight into another project, you know? There's not much on this page. So what can I go see next? I guess I have to click back on work, then back on visual identity to go in and see this, which is not super ideal. So hopefully that's something that can be worked on. See, this is good. So now we're showing, like, you had this illustration to match with the brand identity. Perhaps the lazy load is a bit too slow. Yeah, again, just would like to see more, maybe process, I think, if you were going after a full-time job, and like client deliverables if it's for freelance work. And it's really hard to do both on a site, but I feel like you could do that well. Inbound work. Okay. Why is this the title? I'm curious. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, just don't understand why that's the title here. And it makes me think, okay, does that mean that this work was work that you just decided to do and it's not real work? Whereas this work is stuff that people actually asked you to do if it was inbound? I don't know. But that'll be something to keep in mind. Still like the overall packaging of your site though, you know, like I said, with this logo and things like that. And this image is epic too. I think this is cool. Cool. Nice little thing about you. Did you have your contact information on the other page? I don't know if you did. Yeah, I would say that if you really do want to use the site to get client work, I want to see a headline on the page that talks about like the types of clients you do work for. And, you know, just so that clients will know that they're in the right place. And I also want to see like a very clear next step. Like, okay, I'm a client, I'm interested in working with you. I should see that on every single page. There should be a way for me to contact you, and not just this little contact link in the header, but like a CTA, right? Would be great. So it's just some web design UX stuff that we've got to work on here, Carolina, which is, you know, understandable because it seems like web design isn't what you do normally. But like I said, the visuals, the style of this whole site is great, and definitely makes me want to stick around and actually dig into it. Yeah. I love how everyone is calling out how I said oi to my cat. That is a very Antipodean thing. All right, thanks, Carolina. Moving on. I hope all these people are still watching the stream as well. We'll see, I guess. Okay, Monica Rojas, visual designer based in Rotterdam, Netherlands. Okay, again, another piece of feedback. I would like to see the work on the page already. Like, why make me click another button for it? I know it looks nice to have like a nice clean page, but the faster we can get into seeing the work, the better. And Monica is going after a full-time job as a visual designer. Let me just quickly catch up on the chat a little bit. Should we show the design process for every project? Not necessarily, Crystal. No, I don't think so. You don't have to always show sketches, wireframes, etc. I think for UX design, it seems to be important because that's what every UX designer seems to do. I'm not a UX designer myself. I'm capable of doing UX design, but it's not like my field. But for the type of work that Carolina does, I don't think that Carolina would have needed to show sketches and wireframes and things, you know, referring back to that last project. More like, yeah, client deliverables is what I was trying to express there. Like the logo by itself, the color palette, things like that. Just a bit more stuff. Is it too late to change my site before the critique? Go ahead, Pyriki. We'll see when I get to you. And do I think it's worthwhile to have prices or packages outlined on the site? Or is that tacky? That depends. If you have very specific prices and packages you work to, that could be really, like, make it really approachable for a client. If they like, you know, to know what kind of budget they'd have to have before talking to you. But me personally, whenever I do freelance work, I don't have a price or package that's like, you know, a set price or a set package. It's something that I figure out based on the project. So I wouldn't put prices on my site because they wouldn't be accurate, if that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, Raymond, it's too late. We're ready to judge you unfairly. No, not true. We're doing kind critique here. You know, kind and encouraging criticism. Okay, let's move on. Let's check out Monica's work. So, check out my work. That is a good CTA button, though. Rent radar portal. Okay. This is a pet peeve of mine on portfolio sites. Well, I guess as I'm hovering, I'm seeing that it's kind of what it's like, but when I'm hiring for someone or, like, you know, looking for a designer, I'm looking to see, do they have this type of work in their portfolio? I don't know what any of these things are, so I don't know what kind of work Monica was doing for them. I can see as I hover them, assuming that's a website. That's a website. That's branding? I don't know, right? See? A little confusing. Packaging design, maybe? So having like categories or something about what you worked on to do with these companies is a really great way to just tell people right off the bat that they're in the right place, you know, for the type of work that they're looking for. Let's take a look at a project. As you will notice, I very often just click on the first project on the list when I'm jumping in. Okay, another thing about rentals, that's interesting. That's what we had on the last portfolio too. Okay, I like that you've started off with the project itself, like an overview of it at the top. I think that's good. And now let's see, we're gonna go into some more details. Watch out for your, I can't remember if this is called an orphan or a widow or if there's even a difference, but this line length is a little, like this line is a bit hard to read in terms of the web design. Same with these being centered paragraphs isn't so great. I would like to see these be right aligned. Left aligned, sorry, God, not right aligned. Just makes it easier for me to skim through. Okay. right? So it was a form. Interesting. Okay, and that's it. Although we do have a link to go out and see more, but I really would have preferred to, I thought this was an overview and then we were going to see the details of the process and then we're going to see like the details of the project. I would have preferred to be able to see these things closer up, perhaps with like them connected in a journey flow or something like that, because it's a little hard to see from these details here. What's a widow? Well, now I don't know what a widow is because Curran said this is an orphan. An orphan is when it's one word on a line by itself. Curran, what's a widow? Do you know? Let's have a look at Monica's about page. I love when people have fun photos, like, especially when you're joining a team, you're like, you know, you're going to be working with a person, and so I like to see the person behind the work. I think it's, you know, just to express some personality, you know? So that's nice. Okay, branding, advertising, and UI design. This would have been nice to see right on the homepage, I think, to know that that's your specialty, you know? Okay, calligraphy and lettering, interesting. So I feel like I'm not seeing that represented, or maybe I just haven't clicked onto the right project yet. Let's see. Yeah, same. We've got another orphan here. Ah, okay. Thank you, Curran. Do we have the same situation here where it's what's this gap? Is there an image that hasn't loaded there? I don't know, maybe some images aren't loading? But again, I would like to see this in more detail, I guess. Because the like visuals of this are cool, the aesthetic of these cool gradient squares and things. Like I find myself wanting to honestly like zoom in on my screen just to see a bit more of them. I still really want to see some like, okay, so this is interesting. So we've got some, I think it was a branding project. But it would be really good to make that clearer. I guess that's my main piece of advice here. And the more you do that, whether it's adding categories or just making this title branding for Bibo or whatever this is called, that cements like that branding moniker, you know? It's like making a tie between your name and branding so that people will know to come to you for it. But yeah, overall nice aesthetics of this site. And I like that I can get to the next project from down here, even though I know I didn't use that, but I do like that. Yeah, we just want to see more detail of your work, I suppose. And you've got enough of the, like, you know, showing the brand colors and things is great. I just want to see it closer up, I suppose. Okay. Let's go. Oh my gosh, that is a really morbid, but also good way to remember it, Stuart. Orphans are alone at the start and widows are alone at the end. Okay. Right, what have we got next? Next we have Currans, who has been the one helping us figure out orphans and widows. Okay, so Curran is either looking for a full-time job as a designer or freelance work in UX/UI design. See here, so Curran has these categories which tells me what he worked on this project, so that's useful. There's only 2, which is not a bad thing. Let's go into it and let's see. Should your about page include your resume? Not necessarily, Crystal. If you want it to, it can be a good idea, but there's LinkedIn for that as well, so, you know. And I think recruiters really like that though. So if you're kind of trying to work at companies that recruiters, you know, that use recruiters, so some of the bigger companies perhaps, making that easily accessible is great too. Okay, Mosea. Simplify group transfers. Okay. I really just skim this sort of stuff. And I'm mostly skipping to here, like, what did Curran do on this project? Okay. And he's walking me through the process that's going to happen here. This mostly just tells me that this is Curran's process to sketch to start with, if that makes sense. Dashboard, users can view and access results. We'll say, like, this is a comment about the design of this project, not the portfolio. These drop shadows feel a little harsh, like a little intense. I don't know if the computer screen is necessary for all of these, if that makes sense. That maybe just having it as a square, like in a flow, even as an animation, could have been really nice here. But I mean, this is fine as it is too. Just a thought that came to mind, that all these little things sticking out the side. Oh, there we go. We got a prototype, so that's cool. This lets me see things in more detail, I guess. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice touch to link to that. Good call. And this is cool. Ending with a testimonial. I do really like that. Yeah, that's a nice touch. Oh, looks very current. Okay, good pun, good pun. I would advise, I don't know, just be careful about using terms like this. Like, I don't know, all design should be user-centered, you know? Like, when are you gonna admit to not doing a user-centered design? If that makes sense. It just feels like it's a filler word. Like, yeah, maybe think, like, does it make it easier for them? I don't know, make it, gamify it, make it fun, I don't know. What's your leading here? This all feels a little bit tight, a bit too hard to read. For this research, it's, you know, this is good. I don't know, if you reference a certain, like, okay, drew upon the aesthetic of the Swiss international design movement, maybe show me some examples of the thing you were pulling from, because for me, I just look at this and I think it looks like, you know, a modern app, you know, but that's interesting that you pulled from this, and I would like to see, like, the inspiration versus your design specifically. Cool, another prototype, that's great. I think that overall your UI could use more, like, it feels like you're really strong on the UX side, but if I was looking to hire someone for a role, I would think you had more work to do on the UI side. Things feel like they could be just refined a little bit more. Like the space between this home and the icon, for example, feels really tight. Like perhaps all these icons need to be just slightly smaller to have a bit more breathing room. I would, yeah, look into that. Yeah, same for this heading up here. It all feels a little tight. Like, is that enough room to tap on this button at the side here? This view recipe underneath the icon, it feels a little bit disjointed. Like, it doesn't feel like it's a super tappable space. So that would be my advice for you to work on. It feels like you have a really solid UX process when it comes to research. And yeah, I feel like I get a good idea of your process from this. Also, I just noticed this is really nice at the top here, taking me through, so I know where I'm at. Yeah, but it's the UI that I think could use some tightening. But this is a great start for sure. And I think because this was a project you did yourself, which is why there isn't a thing at the bottom. Let's look at, did Curran have an about page? Yep. Who is this quote by? I would ask that. Cool, yeah, UX researcher. You can see the research side in your process for sure. This is really interesting too. You know, what did you pull from these jobs that, well, yeah, I guess you say here, keen focus for delivering user-centered solutions. Yep, that's good. Cool. And then Karan does link to their resume. Oops, did I just download it? I did. Can you see that? I'm not sure. Okay. Also, what was the... Yeah, that was the homepage. Cool. Hope that helps, Karan. Oh my god, we're never going to get through all these portfolios, but we will do our damnedest to try. I'm going to have to start selecting at random soon. And I'll probably prioritize the not UX portfolios, honestly, because... I don't know. I just think that I can give better advice to graphic designers and web designers because that's what I do. So yeah. Sorry if your UX portfolio doesn't get chosen. You're welcome, Carolina. I hope it was useful and like love your style. Okay. So this is Michael's portfolio. Michael is looking to get freelance clients in UX, product design, and design strategy. Okay. First thing I would say is bold, to just lead with a giant photo of what I assume is yourself. I think someone looking to hire a freelancer, the first thing that they're looking to do is see your work. So leading with that could be better. I do like when people have a photo of themselves on their site though. I think that's a nice touch too, but perhaps we don't need to give so much visual real estate to it, if that makes sense. I like that you've highlighted these words. I think that's a great touch because my eye immediately goes to them and I start associating them with your name. Sorry, every time I like clear my throat, that must be really loud and freaking annoying for you. Okay, 1 billion people on the planet. 1 billion. Why only 1 billion? There's more than that on the planet, right? Okay, so I'm like, how do I see your work, Michael? Interesting. I cannot, apparently. Like, oh no. Okay, did you see that? That was interesting. So I assumed that that this page was not scrollable because there wasn't anything sort of hinting at me to scroll down. And I hate that I just did that because I always like, you know, we always talk about the fold, but in this case, it really felt like there was a fold. I like this for a freelance thing. Let's just click on this and see what this does. Nice, go straight to your Calendly. I think that's a great touch, Michael, so that clients can dig straight in. Okay, so we're still not seeing work here. I'm like, okay, why should I trust you? Why should I trust that you're the person to hire for design and strategy? Feels like you're saying the right things, but if you're not going to put any work on your portfolio, then you at least need to have some testimonials, like some sort of social proof. Of that other people have worked with you before, that you're reliable, that you did good work, or something like that, is what I'd advise. And it doesn't seem like there's a dribble here or anything like that, so I really just don't know how to see your work. So that would be my main piece of feedback for you to work on is, let's get your work onto your website. Ooh, here's one of someone looking to get into web design, or like doing web design. Okay, Ivanska. Looking for freelance clients in web design. So first of all, this is a super dynamic site. I noticed this straight away, this moving background. You build the most interactive and captivating websites. Okay, I feel like you are delivering on that right now because this is feeling pretty captivating. And that this is a strong, ooh, it's my cursor. Strong opening statement as well. Not sold on this font. With this font up here, like, I'm like, this is an interesting mix, but let's see how it develops further down the page. Okay, you build workflow sites. Okay, cool. So you're telling me instantly in this really short, succinct piece of copy that you do it all. So I love hearing that. What happened there? Not entirely sure what those photos are doing. Yeah, watch this. This is where animation, I think, can get a little bit dicey when it like the pictures have disappeared, you know. It's not a super great experience, and it makes me like worry just a little bit about what's happening if we work together, you know. Okay, here's this font coming in again. This feels too large, this font. Like, I would love to see you lean into this font some more. This one is nice. This doesn't feel like the right application of a font like this, if that makes sense. In a strip, in this very geometric strip like this. Also, yeah, I don't know. Don't know if this feels a lot like a button, but I did notice it, so maybe it's fine. I'm not loving this stripe that goes all the way along. It feels like it's like chunking up the page, if that makes sense. I think that this would actually be stronger if we just gave it some space and took away the pink background. And also I feel like Let's Stay Connected should come with a CTA of some sort. But I can see here that it's like you wanting me to read your blog content. I would maybe consider changing that headline. What sort of stuff do you write about on your blog? Is it advice? I don't know. See, this is, yeah, I like this font here. I'm not so sure if the hand drawn one goes with it. Let's check out your work. Also, I'm going to take that thing off the screen since we can actually see more of the page now. Oh, colors. It says on the screen. Did you not see it? It said submit your portfolio using the form in the description. Yeah, good point, Manny. Maybe they're being substituted. Okay, so on the work page, I'm only seeing one project, but let's click on it and see. Ooh, not so sure about this font in outline mode. And the spacing here and everything feels tight, like feels unfinished. I would work on that. And again, yeah, with this, the heading in the pink block. I think this font would look better smaller. In fact, let me see if I can just quickly do some tweaking here. This is one of my favorite things to do on a site. Okay, what if we... Where is the font size? Here we go. If this was smaller, or even then, like, you know, when it has more breathing room in this pink, it kind of looks all right. And then how is this being... Okay. See, I feel like this feels neater, although it did look alright when it was in the center as well. Yeah, I would say go left aligned and take away the pink. And this font feels really small compared to this one. What size is this? I'm going to use my font thingy. Yeah, 14 pixels is really tiny for body copy. I would definitely, you know, 16 minimum, and for this font, maybe even 18 would be better. I forgot that I changed this and I was like, see, this looks nice down here. Yeah. What's your line length as well? When text is small like this, there's like too many words on this line for it to be comfortable to read. So just watch that. I like that you put in a screenshot of the site though, because that was going to be a recommendation of mine at the top. You had see the site, a link to go out and look at it. But we always want to be careful about that being the only way our work is shown, because if the client makes a change to the site or anything like that, that's your work. Like, I don't know, is it a good reflection of your work then? So just watch that. And I think that's great that you included a screenshot so that I could see it. I feel like your homepage was stronger than the actual project itself, if that makes sense. Where I really liked this line that you said. And then the presentation of the project kind of let it down a little bit. So maybe I would advise working on that more. Yeah, just to make sure you're presenting things in your best light. And what was that font plugin is called What the Font? No, it's called What Font. And you can just like click on it and then click anywhere to see what font is being used somewhere. very, very handy. Okay. Hope that was useful anyway. And I like this moving background, that's for sure. Crystal says, should my portfolio include all facets of my design skills? No. Well, okay. I think that you should customize your portfolio based on the type of job you're applying for at that moment. If you're really spreading your range and like you're applying for photography jobs as well as illustration jobs and things like that, just, I don't know. I think that you'd have more success if you picked a focus area to show on your website. And then the other things can sort of come in as on your about page, perhaps, as your interests. Like, I believe it was, whose site was it that said calligraphy? Was that Monica's site, I think? Yeah, talked about calligraphy on the about page, but she didn't have a whole like calligraphy section on the site. I think that's a great way to bring in the other things you're interested in. Yeah. Okay, next site. Also, sorry if I'm missing questions. Like I said, please feel free to repost any questions that you had if I missed it. I'm going to jump down to the next next non-UX one, and we'll come back to some UX ones if we have time. I feel like, okay, one problem I'll say before we get into Irma's portfolio, for UX designers, like, UX portfolios all feel very similar. Like, they all start with a persona, then they go into some wireframes, and then they go into a user flow. I don't know. Like, any way you can find UX portfolios to feel more interesting or, like, more engaging would be a winner, because I don't find them super engaging to look through a lot of the time. Or like, I don't know, you see a couple of them and then they all start to feel the same, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's get into Irma's portfolio. So they say that they're looking for either a full-time job or freelance, open to both. And currently in graphic design, as in branding mostly, but would like to jump into web design, which is not reflected on my portfolio site in my Dribble. So, first of all, I cough. First of all, if you want to get into web design work and you're using a portfolio to apply for stuff, we need to make that change on your site. Like, we need to get web design stuff onto your portfolio. Let's just have a quick look at the Dribble. This is not what I would normally do, but yeah, there we go. See, I look at this and it feels web design. So let's get this stuff onto here. Because like, if you were really applying for a web design job with this, I don't know if you would make it to the next stage, because I'd be like, okay, this person has good like design style, but I need someone with web design experience, you know? Maybe if you're hiring a junior web designer, because you've obviously got very nice typography skills, like I was pointing out on the last site, the line length and the font size was not right. This feels super nice, super easy to read. I'm a big fan of graphic designers jumping into web design for this reason. A little biased because I trained myself as a graphic designer and then made the jump into web design, but we bring to web design this deep knowledge of typography and layout that can absolutely be applied to the web. All of those layout skills, the spacing and the flow of a page, specific, like a printed page, can apply to a digital page as well. And especially the typography side of graphic design. I think that typography is something that people who start digital really should dig in and learn more of. And I think that these two sites that we've just gone back and forth between is a great example of why, right? Like, we look at this type compared to this type, which one is more readable, which one is actually like, feels like it encourages you to read it. So yeah, that's my rant about typography. Okay. Sorry, Gloria, for making your heart race every time I pick a new one. Okay. Ooh, well, here we get into some smaller type though. So just after I was complimenting you on this type size, let's bump this one up as well, because this is very, like, it's a little bit lost in amongst here, but this layout of the work looks very nice. Like, this looks great. If I was hiring editorial design, yep, looks awesome. But yeah, let's make this bigger. Let's stick with this nice typography that you had here. And this nice like grid that you have. It's just... Graphic designers bringing grids to the web is fantastic. Cool, so you're showing a good range of stuff here. It feels like it's a really complete project and that you handled a lot of different areas of it, so I really like that. But yeah, we need to get your web design stuff into this portfolio, and I would advise you to completely redo all of the projects, redo your about description as well, your bio. Yeah, let's make it all focused on web design. If that's what you want to go into, let's commit to it, and yeah, go for it, because the stuff on your Dribble looks nice. It looks like you are bringing your graphic design skills to digital. So let's jump in on it. And maybe it's that these projects are, yeah, concept ones for now, but that's okay still too. I think that you should get web design work pretty fast, because this is it looks super slick. It looks super well designed, nice balance to it. You just need to, yeah, put it out there that that's what you do. Okay, Gloriart, what is your name, I wonder? Like, I don't even know how I would find your portfolio in here. Okay, who next? Ooh, okay. This is let's do a... Okay, Melissa has sent a Behance and a website. So, slightly cheating, but we'll open them both up. You can't see it, but the cats are like cuddling up together on the bed over there, and it's really cute. Sorry, Manny, that I keep not dropping the links in the chat. Here is Melissa's portfolio. Also, well, I don't know, I was just going to say that people I'm sharing can drop their own link, but I don't know if they actually can. Okay, so Melissa says that they are... Where is it? Looking for freelance clients, transitioning into graphic design, content, and web. Okay, so I feel like I can see why you sent me your site and a Behance, because if I looked at this and you were trying to get a graphic design job, I'd be like, this person is not a graphic designer. You know, you're a videographer and you're a photographer. That's what your site is telling me. And yeah. Yeah, it looks like you do photography work for interiors and advertising and also portraits. So we'll move on from that, because I feel like I'm not best equipped to evaluate a photography portfolio. Okay, yeah. Photo, video design, and content creation. See, I look at this though and I'm like, okay, which one is your design project then? If I'm looking to hire you as a designer, I guess we have to dig in and see. Whatever, you can have my cookies, Behance. I'm assuming you did the... Oh yeah, it says here. Webpage design. Oh, and branding and photography. The, like, layout of this is really nice, actually. I just don't love Behance as a portfolio. Like, I feel like it's not super inviting to click into. I don't know. Oh, Melissa, I just realized who I'm talking to. I know you. Okay. Photo and video, okay. But also design? Art director. If I'm reading that correctly. My Spanish is being tested to its limit. You're fine, Melissa. Don't worry about sharing 2 links. Because it's like, this is a real experience, right? This is the stuff you would send to a client. Yeah. But yeah, the way these projects are laid out is super nice. I feel like this needs to be on a website. Doesn't need to be. Like, a Behance is actually fine. But I think this would go really well being laid out on a website. I'll phrase it that way. Okay, cool. So now I'm seeing the content creation that you did. Because what would be cool is if this is your areas of specialty, right? To have like filters where I can click through and see like, okay, what's all the content creation work Melissa did? If that's the thing that I'm looking to hire for. And I would, on your site, we were just talking about this before. I can't remember who was saying the like offering all the skills like that an agency would. I would lean in on this and be like, I'm your one-stop shop for your content and design needs. Because photo and video like is part of creating content, right? Really. Lean in on that as the messaging. And I think if you come out with that and if you make that strong, it can feel stronger than a like, I can do this and also this and also this, if you know what I mean, which is kind of what it's feeling like right now. It's kind of like, I'm available for any of these things, where it seems like, from what I've seen in these things so far, your power is in bringing all this stuff together, right? So message yourself in that way and like market yourself in that way on your site. And I think that will really help. And also to get some testimonials from clients. Oh, fun. I just learned this word in my Spanish class yesterday, so I'm just proud of myself for recognizing it. What was I saying? Yeah, get some testimonials in here. I'm just scrolling down to see if there are any. No, okay. Because like a testimonial about it from a client that backs up this idea of you being a one-stop shop, of being able to handle all the things so that they don't need to like, go elsewhere for the photography, that you can make their brand and you can also make their Instagram feed, will be really strong. That's what a lot of people, especially smaller businesses, want. So I would lean in on that. Yeah. And like, seeing Scarlett Johansson in here, that's pretty damn like impressive thing in a portfolio. So nice. Oh, cool, Karen. Yeah. So any work you want to enhance access to CMS for Adobe portfolio. Cool. Maybe that could be a great way for you to go, Melissa, is to make an Adobe portfolio with this work. Yeah, and I hope that was useful. Yeah, and definitely lead with the design stuff, because you said in the form that you're transitioning to graphic design, content and web. So like, if that's what you really want to focus on more of, lead with that. I feel like right now I'd be more inclined to hire you for photo video work, because that's mostly what I'm seeing, right? So that tells me, yeah, that's what you're doing. Okay, let's jump into, I feel like, wait on, did Glory Arts say what their name was and how to find their portfolio in this thing so that they can stop freaking out each time I pick a new one? I'll check back in the chat in a second. We'll go to a different one right now. I'm gonna close my eyes and just do a random pick. Okay, we landed on a product design one. Meg, I know Meg too. Okay, full-time job as a designer is what Meg is looking for. And they're looking for a job in product design. Okay, product designer and tinkerer. This is a nice, like, bit of personality to the title. I like this. I would think this is better than saying like a user-centered product designer or an empathetic product designer, because like I said before, those are things that a lot of people say about themselves. Yes, Adrian, agreed. Dan Petty's portfolio is a great example. And also his book in general is a great book to read about portfolios. I was going to do a portfolio design course. I might still, but then I read Dan's book and I was like, well, I feel like Dan said everything that I could want to. Is it okay to put Instagram as your main social media feed for a designer? Sure, why not? But I wouldn't use Instagram as your portfolio. Well, you know what? I take that back. If you're looking to work with clients who are like, maybe like content creators or running their own like really small business, getting it off the ground, Instagram, a lot of them use Instagram to like find designers. So being on there could actually work really well for you. But if you're applying for a job or trying to get work with like larger companies, like more established companies, I guess, then a Instagram portfolio won't cut it. Yeah. Okay, back to Meg's portfolio. So again, I would like to see work on here, Meg. I want to see your work straight away, but I kind of like that you're forcing me to read your bio as a first off. Yeah, I don't know, I get a few. Okay, so we click into work. See, it just would be nice to even see some snippets of your work on the page. I think that would be a good start. Okay, Kroger Rush 30-minute delivery. I like these subtitles. I think this is a good touch to say like a bit about the brand if I don't know what it is, which I don't. I know Kroger's is like is it a grocery store or a drugstore or something in the US though? Let's jump in. Okay. Would love to see a visual right up here when I first go into your case study, just to reinforce that I'm in the right place and that I'm, doing a visual thing. Line length, maybe a little too long here. I would shorten this a little bit, like cut it off around here. I don't know if you can see my mouse actually. Maybe you can? I don't know. And highlight anything you really want me to read, because I'm just like, okay, this is a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? This bit here is interesting. Like, this could even be the headline, right? Like, letting users know that this feature exists, or something like that could be the heading if that's the problem that you're solving. Cutting straight into it and synthesizing it for me is a great way to go. And like that got me interested then in seeing how you solve this problem, rather than it being like, yeah, here's the thing I designed, right? Like it's focusing on what the problem was that you were solving. Interesting. And I love that you've called out data here. This is like, how can you make this more of a focus? Maybe it's just having this, again, it could be bringing into the title, like we increased visibility by 78%, something like that. Could be a great way to call that out and make sure it doesn't get lost in the paragraph, because the number itself doesn't really matter. Like you could have said you increased it by 20% and I would have been impressed. What I like is that you're paying attention to data and that you're getting involved in that part of the project too, and that's the thing you think about. I think that's really strong. So how can you bring that out more? And yeah, that could look like copywriting headings, making them larger and bringing some information into them, rather than it just being like results. You know what I mean? Because I think if you had a piece of data in there, I would know that that's the results section anyway. Yeah. And then let's look at one more project of Meg's. Let's look at this one. And I went to this one in case you're wondering of the like my user flow there. I was like, oh, that one's also Kroger, so I want to look at a different brand. Okay. This seems like the pain point, or like the interesting problem you were solving here is like, how can we make something that's adaptable to a large catalog of devices? Oh, this is fair enough. So this makes sense. Maybe, would I suggest leading with this? I don't know. No, it's kind of fine. Like, you showed me what you could. Here would be a great place though for a CTA, right? Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, let's hop on a call. How do I do that? I can't see how to do that on the screen right now. I'm not stupid. I know that I could scroll up the top and I guess I'd have to go back to your homepage to find out how to contact you. There we go, there's your email. But you could have put your email in right there and it would have helped, yeah. Oh, and let me leave a link to Meg's portfolio for the people who are asking for links in the chat. Here we go. Okay. Ooh, okay, Julia. Did you submit into the form? I can definitely. I found you. Don't worry about it. Okay. Let's look at Julia's because, what did you say, Julia? You have an interview for a product design role in a company with a similar mentality to ConvertKit. Is that coming up soon? Also, congratulations for landing an interview. All right. Okay. Sophia, do you think it's better to show work on our own website? Doing on Behance. The only reason I recommend showing it on your own site is I just feel like you can have more customization. Although Melissa's, which I don't have open anymore. Can I get back to your Behance from here, Melissa? No. Melissa's had really good like project layouts in Behance, so that was actually really nice. But I think on your own website you can have better categorization and stuff. So that's, I don't know, more interesting, I guess. But you don't have to. If you have an option and if you have the ability and the means to make your own website, you need to pay for Squarespace or whatever, then I would advise doing it. But Behance is a good, I think it's a free option, right? Yeah. Okay, let's get into looking at Julia's portfolio. Side note, I just want to shout out here that we have like a lot of people watching, like 200 something people watching, and also where are you all during my Twitch streams? I think you would really like them. I'm just going to shout out myself right now. And put a link to my Twitch channel in the thread where you should subscribe. Yeah, go follow me on Twitch. Not subscribe, sorry. Subscribe on Twitch means paying. You don't have to do that. Just follow me and you'll see when I do streams over there and we hang out and do design stuff together. Let's get back to Julia now. Sorry for the delay, Julia. Okay, Julia Gale, currently UI. Okay. I wonder if it would be better to lead with a heading about like who you are as a designer rather than where you work. But that depends. Like if the company you're interviewing with or like the kind of jobs you want to get are other tourism companies, then this is strong. Yeah, I just need to know more context there, I guess. Okay. Interesting that you've got these different CTAs here. I would probably make this a case study instead of study case. Just feels like a bit, I don't know, that's not a term I've heard used. I like this little shot of the design. This is a really creative way to like give a device feel without it being a device, you know? And this makes me feel like, ooh, and is this a watch app as well? That's kind of nice. Okay. This needs a question mark, right? This is a question. I guess this is interesting. If I was hiring I don't know, I find it really hard to evaluate product design portfolios because I'm like, personally, I don't know how much value this gives me, but maybe if you're a UX designer, this is super important, and so that's why it's in there. But, and yeah, like calling out that it didn't take you very long to complete, like, I'm like, I don't know, is that, I don't know if, what value that gives me. Like, it doesn't tell me much about you, if that makes sense. But yeah, the design of this portfolio is nice, the overall look and feel of things. I feel like this could have been just one sentence for each here. I don't know, maybe. Okay, I like when you research competitors. The more you can bullet point stuff would be better here, I think. Like, I think you could bullet point a lot of these things and I'd be more inclined to read it. This just feels like a lot of text before I get into the design of stuff, if that makes sense. Because, yeah, it's interesting that you're calling out these as, like, bigger points for me to take notice of. But overall, my impression here is like, okay, Julia does research, right? That's what I'm taking in from this. Okay, Okay, this looks like a good sitemap. Like this is really clear and easy to understand. This part, this is interesting. The style guide size of things when it comes to product design. When we've been hiring designers at ConvertKit, something that's important is hiring a person who is going to be happy working within an existing style guide. Like, of course, there's chance to make improvements and to like push things forward, but you won't be coming up with a style guide for each project. And so seeing this in your portfolio here, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to check in the others if she designed the style guide for all of them. Or if she's worked with, like, I don't know, within an existing one before. And it would be a thing, I guess, that I'd call out in an interview with you is like, check, would you be happy doing that? All of this because you've put focus on putting the style guide here on the page. It's not a bad thing at all, especially if it's a company who, or an agency that is going to need you to be able to handle colors well and things like that. But yeah. Okay, wireframes. I'm like, this doesn't tell me a whole lot. Components. Okay, this looks nice. Final product. Okay. Like I said before, I like this presentation of these final products on the screen right here. And this is nice, the onboarding flow. This is the part that I put, maybe it's just because I'm a web designer, but this is the part that I'm personally really mostly interested in. I think that seeing the research is good. You know, just seeing that you did it in general is good. Wireframes, I'm like, this doesn't really tell me much. I don't even know if this was necessary to put in here, you know. Because I think it's expected that everyone does wireframes. But these look nice. Like you have a really nice design style, Julia. Everything feels like it has nice space. You know, I think there was one before I was talking about where it didn't feel like the arrow back was quite tappable. This one feels nice and tappable. And this is nice, this mock-up as well on the watch. Oops, hang on, wait, our playlist ended. Everyone who watches my Twitch channel knows that that means we've been streaming for about an hour and 40 minutes. Whenever the playlist ends. It could be really nice if you had a clickable prototype somewhere. But yeah. Overall, this looks great. So I don't care really that this wasn't a real project because it feels like you went into detail with the screens and it wasn't like you just designed a one screen thing, you know, and it looks really good. Let's just look at one more project. Good point, Patricio. If you're communicating what you learned as you iterated, maybe like wireframes need to be annotated to be useful is I guess what I'm saying. And let's look at this website. I'm not so sure of this all caps serif font here. It feels a little different to the other page on your site. There is a cat standing on my foot. Hey, pal. What are you doing down there, kids? Ooh. This being animated is nice. Yep, good point. Penguin chili? The font on the site could be a little, increase the contrast a bit. Yeah, this is nice, these inclusions of the animated bits. Okay, let's look at the About page. This is not a great heading for an About page, I don't think. It doesn't, I've clicked on this because I want to know more about you and all you're saying is, hi, thanks for visiting. And then it doesn't look like there's any more text on the page. So I could think like, oh, there's nothing else here, you know? Like, let's lead with something else about you, Julia, here instead. I think would be stronger. Cool, I like when people include a little, you know, personal tidbit as well. Oh, this is nice. See, oh, this is what we were talking about before, is that a great way to include the extra skills that you have is to add it to your about page. And you've done just that, which I think is fantastic. So here I can see like, oh, cool, and she does photography. That's nice. A nice touch. But yeah, let's fix this heading and let's make sure copy is brought higher up on the page so that we know that, you know, I clicked on this page because I wanted to read about you. And from just looking at this, it doesn't look like I'm actually going to be able to do that here. So yeah, that's what I would say. Hope that was helpful, Julia, and good luck for your interview that you have coming up soon. Looks like you have super strong visual design skills, both on the UX and the UI side. So I'm sure that you will do great. Okay, let's go to another one. Are we enjoying the portfolio review stuff? Do we want to switch back to just Q&A? You can let me know that as well. Ooh, and someone just reminded me to drink water. Thank you. Thank you, Eli. Are there free sites to use the designs for commercial use? What do you mean? Like, I don't know what you mean by that question, Abby. I'm sorry. How often do I broadcast? Well, I go live on Twitch pretty much every week, so you should follow me over there. Basically, this whole live stream is just a promo for my Twitch. No. But yeah, I think I should do more of this stuff on YouTube as well. The reason that I stream on Twitch is because I prefer the streaming experience and it just feels like more, I don't know, I just like it on Twitch. But I'm really enjoying this too. I think I will keep it separate though and keep the like follow me as I work stuff happening on Twitch and also the games happening on Twitch. But we'll do these every so often as well because this is fun, and thank you all for hanging out with me. Pie Ricky, all right, what is your name? I'm guessing your name isn't Pie Ricky. And I can't find anyone called Ricky in this submission either, so you gotta tell me what your name is to search for. How do I like eating real Spanish paella? It's great. I don't eat it often enough, but probably because we've been in lockdown. Yeah. Oops, sorry, Joanna. Yeah, I probably could have been clearer about this. That it was happening on YouTube instead. Name should be Richard. Okay, it should be Richard. Let's see if it actually is. Okay, I found you, Richard. Richard Dellis. Does that seem right? All right, everyone. Let's look at Richard's portfolio. Pie Ricky. Wait. Yeah, this is the only Richard in the submission, so I'm assuming this is you. This is Richard's portfolio for anyone who wants to check it out with us. Okay, so Richard is looking for freelance clients in graphic design. Okay, so the first thing that I see when I come to this is I'm like, all right, Richard works for clients in the music industry. If that is your goal, that's great. If it's not, maybe that's something to be aware of. But I see like a bunch of different album art, which by the way, it looks really cool. This is interesting. I feel like it's clear you have a style, but I couldn't define it, and all this stuff also looks super unique and different. So yeah, first glance, that is my first impression. Branding doesn't quite feel as strong as the album art, but maybe we just need to dig into it a little more. Like, the designer who works on this, which feels like it's like a kid's brand, feels like a different designer to the designer who works on these cool, quirky, somewhat surrealist album cover type stuff. So yeah, just, I don't know. That's my thoughts. I don't have any advice beyond that, I guess, but it's a note. Rendering. Okay, see, now that I get down here, I'm starting to have the thoughts that we were saying before, where it feels like I'm like, okay, wait, so Richard's saying that they do rendering as well as branding for, like, I don't know, some corporate clients, but then there's also this album art, and I feel like a little confused, and I'm not sure if I was someone looking for a rendering professional that I would come to your site and feel like, yes, this is the person to hire. Does that make sense? Because you've sort of split your focus across different things. I think freelancers in particular really need to niche more than full-time workers do. for this reason, because when you're hiring someone to do a job for you, you want to hire the best person for the job, the best person that you can afford. Maybe we'll say it that way. And so you're looking for someone who specializes in the thing that you want to work within, usually. So just keep that in mind. Maybe it means having a different landing page for your rendering versus your branding versus your album art, and choosing, like, if I could pick one of these things to be known for most, which would I pick? And going after that. That would be my advice. Hoping to use rendering in your cover art. Okay, yeah. So there, perhaps I wouldn't break it out as a separate category on your home page. Maybe it could be like on the about page as a skill you're picking up, or you mention it in the album art as like a way that you developed the artwork. Yeah. Well, let's look at our project and see what we see within here. Okay, first note, this type is way too small and close together on this, especially on a dark background. That's really hard to read. 14 pixels is way too small. I think this feels like the default in Webflow. I think you could choose a font. Maybe it just didn't load, I don't know. But I think you can pick a better font here than this. Like, what font is used here? Montserrat. See, like, we should be using this for the copy as well. Would be a good idea. And make it bigger. Can't believe I just said make the logo bigger. Classic design feedback, but yeah. This plugin is what font? Yeah. I think if we increase the size of this, then the line length wouldn't be so bad if it was big enough. But yeah. And like, if it's a personal project, we don't need to say client. Maybe you would say fictional band or something. I don't know, like describe it that way. Or if this is your own band yourself, perhaps. But yeah. And maybe I would talk more about I don't know, show some details or something like that, or this just isn't super engaging to read, this line, perhaps because of the size of it. And let me jump into more work next. Don't make me click back to another page. It would be fun to see this like in place, like see it in Spotify or something, so that and it's not the lack of text, like you don't have to say a lot about it, but it's just more like show us the details and make the text bigger to read. Yeah, it'd be cool to see this in Spotify, like on a phone or whatever, so that we see this album art in context. Maybe see it, mock it up on a record cover, something like that. Could be really cool. I would like to see the back of them as well, because I think if I was someone looking to hire someone to create album art, then I would need to know that you can lay out all the songs and, like, you know, the details and stuff like that, as well as the other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that would be my feedback there. Let's look at your about page. But it seems like you want to focus on album art, so I would lean into that and just, yeah, focus on it. And if you need to have a different portfolio to apply for, like, the jobs that pay the bills in the meantime, while you're building up your reputation in the album art area, then you could make a separate homepage for yourself pretty easily in Webflow to send people to instead. Yeah. We've already talked about font size. That needs to be a lot larger to be more readable. And in particular, if album art is what you want to focus on, lean into your love of music in your about page too. Maybe, like, you could even embed a Spotify playlist of your favorite songs at the moment. Could be really cool. Just to, like, really make that connection to the music industry. And someone's site I want to send you to is this guy, my friend Brent Galloway. He designs merch for bands, and he's just done a fantastic job at establishing this niche for himself. I'm going to drop a link to his site in the chat. Wow, can you hear that motorbike outside? Yeah, check it out, because he does a really good job of really leaning into that music industry side of things on his site. But yes, I hope that was useful, Richard. I think that, yeah, my advice to you is lean in on the album art thing. It seems to be the thing that you want to be doing. Thank you. Yeah, more water. Wow, we've been going for nearly 2 hours. Okay. And we have way more portfolios than we will ever be able to get to in this stream, so I am very sorry about that. Does anyone have like a job they're applying for at the moment that we can like prioritize looking at theirs? Is there, you know, anything like that? How often do I do these? I haven't done one for like a year, but this is really fun. So if you keep showing up to them, then I guess I'll keep doing them. I'm just gonna find a link to Dan's book while anyone tells me if they have like a job coming up that they're applying to or anything like that. This is that portfolio book. I would highly, highly recommend it. And if you tell me, then you also have to tell me your name so that I can find you in my spreadsheet. Okay. Ice Kiln. We're going for you because I saw your name first. What did you say your name was? Tarang. Okay. UX design and research. Okay. Let's see if this is going to look any different to all the other UX design portfolios we've been going to, huh? Okay. This does look different. This is, I don't know, I am torn on this. It's different, but also it's like, I know this is a website. That was my point of clicking on it. This line here, I mean. I like when people have like the links in the heading though. I think it's a nice touch. Cool, this would be nice for recruiters. Oh, I forgot to say, yeah, Tarang is looking for either freelance or full-time job. In UX design and research. I said that part. Something feels off about the spacing here. Like, why is there more space on this side than this side? My eyes aren't going funny, right? Like, there is more space here than here. It's not centered. That's a good point, Meg. The third person could be a little weird, but I don't know, if you keep going with it, whatevs. Like, that wouldn't be a make or break, you know what I mean? Like, that's not gonna be a reason that I wouldn't move your portfolio forward to the next round or anything like that. Okay. This is a nice way to categorize things. You're telling me which was stuff from your degree. I'm not sure what this is built in, but if you could add some transitions so that these don't jump so suddenly, that would be nice for these hover state things. This is cool. Ah! Oh, I like this. Let's see if I was saying it right. I probably wasn't.
Tarang?
Nope, I wasn't. Sorry, Tarang. Oh, Julia! Yes, I remember that story. Wait, is this the same job then? On a Twitch stream, Julia was saying that she had to go because she had an interview, and then she came back because the interviewer didn't show up. That sucked. So you've kept up the third person thing the whole way, so, you know, I feel like that fits. This is nice. This is a good, like a one-pager. So I'm seeing your about page on here as well as your work. Let's jump in and take a look at some work though. Okay. It would be nice to see some sort of navigation up the top here, I will say that. Anytime it's a team project, it's also really important to note, oh, you already did, what you worked on it. So you were the UX designer and you worked with a manager. So that's cool. This is a good example of like writing a heading that gives me information rather than it just saying introduction. Yeah. And you've highlighted a word there too. That's nice. So I'm skimming this and I see like, okay, they did research and they held workshops to do their research. That is the information that I can quickly glean from this. Okay. Cool, I like this highlighting that you've done. It's good for making it skimmable. I so see this sort of stuff and my eyes sort of glaze over, honestly. Like, I'll just be honest about that. It doesn't mean that it shouldn't be there because, like I said, it's probably really important for the UX side of things, but as that's not me. Okay, so you looked at competitors, did some concept sketches. Why are these so small? No entiendo. Yeah, that's a bit odd. Because it seems like this is an important point, right? Like you narrowed down to these features. Okay, we got a good sitemap. Okay, yeah, we did some wireframes. That's what I'm just voicing like what I think when I see this stuff. I'm not like, oh, look at this graph. I'm like, cool, there was wireframes. They were probably a prototype. Gives me an idea of yeah, what your process was. So did this end up at wireframes, this project? Because it feels like we didn't get a solution here. You know what I mean? So the wireframes are the solution. This is a long document, but it's great that you're able to share all this. Okay, here's a question for you. Like, okay, you said it ultimately ensured the success. What was the success? Did it get built in the end? Was the success that it like solved the problem? I don't know. That would be a good like way to tie in, especially when we end with wireframes. Yeah, but of course, like I'm in saying that I know that some UX design roles, wireframes is where you get to, and that's all you need to do. So, you know, that's fine too. Sometimes that's all you need to be doing in the role. But I just feel like it needed some sort of tie up. Maybe a testimonial quote from the client, because you just said that the client developed it on their own. Yeah, or something about what the results were. Let's go back since we can't click on another project. This thing is good. Let's look at one more project. I like that you've put this project duration, and I think it was it Julia's portfolio that had the whole timeline? This just sort of gives me a frame of reference for how long you spent on it. So maybe that's all you need. Like I said though, UX design could need more. This one doesn't feel quite as skimmable as the last one. I will say that. So it feels like we're using different fonts here for some reason. Yeah, I didn't find this one very skimmable. Like it just feels like it's a lot of stuff being thrown at me. Whereas the last one, because of the steps that it had, I felt like it was easy to go through and digest. But yeah, hope that was helpful. Anyway, I missed if anyone else said that they were applying for a job sometime soon. Why do I offer fonts on my website? Because I made a font and you can buy it. Because it's cool. If I type in my own site correctly. Go check out Grayscale, people. It's great for annotating wireframes and stuff. Okay, let's go into another portfolio. I'm gonna pick something that's not a UX design. Like, no offense to UX designers, I just, you know, like I said before, it's not my forte. Have we got any? Ooh, here we go. Here is Glory Art, who was waiting patiently before. Let's see. I don't know if you're still in the chat listening, but we're going to yours now. Thanks for joining us, Patricio. Paige is applying to jobs. Okay, Paige, we'll find you next. I love hearing that, Mike. I love hearing that Grayscale is in use. And Fracana, I spelled it the US way because most of my audience is in the US and I tend to type that way now. Okay. Gloria's portfolio. So, Looking for freelance clients in design and illustration. It doesn't say what type of design, so I guess let's find out. My first impression here is that we very quickly see a certain illustration style that looks super clean. Ooh, the nice animated. That's nice. And I also see, like, it feels like a good breadth of work too. So that's like first impression. I'm like, yep, cool. This person has had experience. This is really nice to have on a portfolio. I don't think we've seen this yet on someone's homepage looking for freelance work, but yeah, whenever you can put this in when you've worked with clients with recognizable logos, that is fantastic. So well done for putting that in there. And this is really important too. This is what someone else's portfolio I was saying before needed a CTA at the bottom for working together. And this is nice also, like for the teaching side of things. Cool. Let's dig in and look at a project, and we'll look at the first one. But overall, like, my impression of this portfolio, not knowing anything about Gloria, is that Gloria is a professional, like a seasoned professional in illustration, has done a lot of work, and I'm assuming that these projects that I'm seeing are not their only projects that they've done. I'm assuming this is a very curated selection, and like it just instantly, feels like I'm hiring an experienced illustrator coming to this page. Let's jump in and take a look at a project. You know what? Maybe, wait, before we do this, one thing that could be nice is some sort of statement about who you are as an illustrator, or like the kinds of things that you specialize in. I don't know, maybe it's not needed because I feel like from your shots here, I get a good sense of your illustration style. So if this is the kind of thing I was looking for, you know, you'd clearly be one that I'd want to contact to hire. Yeah. Okay, complex ideas with simple forms. Okay, this is interesting. You worked on their website and product presentation. I assumed it was an illustration project, maybe because you said illustration in your form, but also because from this image here, you've said illustrated graphics. Oops, also spelling mistake. Illustrated. Yeah, let's cut out these two letters. I had to read that very carefully to figure out where that was. Okay. So, do you see what I'm saying there? Where I was like, oh, I thought this was illustrations though, but it seems like they worked on the website and like product as well. This is nice, showing some process here. Like, this is just enough process, I think. So I'd like to know, like, did you design the site itself as well as the illustrations? Yeah, I feel like that's not entirely clear. Some comment, like, because you're looking to freelance, illustrations on the website. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Maybe make that clear, because the way you've said here, the working on their website, it was like, oh, did you do the website design? Oh, you did say illustrations. Yeah, I don't know. Just be careful about that. Because it's good to show them in context, for sure. Like, absolutely, I want to see the context that the illustrations ended up in. Maybe, and if you had, like, on your homepage, a heading about, like, an illustrator who does X, I perhaps wouldn't be having these questions, because you'd be presenting yourself as an illustrator, if that makes sense. Yeah. What I was saying before is a testimonial quote from the client. Because you're looking to get freelance work with this site, that could really help to end this out. Like, this is a really nice presentation of your work. I think it's great. And if we end with like either a comment from one of this company's users or a comment from the company itself about how well the illustrations fit their brand or express their concepts or whatever, that could be really strong. And next we have Dribble, which is interesting. I'm interested to know if that's a thing that you're particularly looking to grow. because it leads me here rather than looking at another project on your site, which is interesting. Yeah. But let's try, so I have to go back to your homepage to click into another project. Maybe for these headings on your projects, I would advise, instead of writing them about what the company does, write about what your apps were doing. Like, you know, what the challenge was that you were solving, like presenting, yeah, I don't know, I guess let's see what it's presenting. But yeah, framing it around that could help. Like illustrations to make people feel, to like make this feel approachable or whatever, I don't know, off the top of my head, would be good. This is super nice, like layout of your, ooh, and this is cool to see too. I like that. I'm like, ah, cool. So if I was a client of Gloria, I would expect to maybe be sent a thing like this for approval or something, I don't know. But that's super nice. I feel like here perhaps it's more obvious that the illustrations was the part you did, because we're seeing the illustrations by themselves first and then we see them in context. That might be something to bring in to the other project. But yeah, super nice. Interesting how this one doesn't promote your dribble. Overall, super nice, and I feel like, okay, let's look at the About Me, because this will be the next thing I would go. Current site, hang on, wait, I can grab your link to current site. Let it load. Here is current site. Yes, I agree, the illustrations, this is super nice. Like, honestly am putting you on a list for if we ever need illustrations like this for ConvertKit. Cool. See, this too, this all adds up to my initial impression that I got was that Gloria is very experienced in her career. And you know, it is definitely not in that newbie getting started phase. And so seeing this, like seeing that you're featured in places, that you've done public speaking, won awards, like awards aren't necessary to get clients as a designer or whatever, but all of this just adds up to be like, okay, if I hire Gloria, I'm hiring a true professional who I can trust to get the job done. So yeah, and agreed, Meg, I love this animated about photo. That's super nice. It like gives me ideas as a client of like ways that I could use your skills. So yeah, super cool. I think this is great, and I'm afraid that I don't have much very useful feedback for you apart from perhaps the headings on your projects, just to make it even more clearer. Oh, that's interesting, that you don't have your, in the footer you have illustration, digital art as categories. Maybe you should put illustration in your navigation as well, even if it just leads to a page with all your illustration work. Just because navigation isn't just for getting around the site, it's also for communicating a message, right? So we're communicating that you're an illustrator and that you do digital art by having those two things in the header navigation. Because I'm assuming that you probably want clients to, I mean, this is sort of like more of like a nice to know sort of page, whereas what you really want them to look at is the actual projects. Yeah. I said I was going to go to someone next, and now I can't remember who it was. Carla says, can I just stream all day? No, because at some point I need to eat food. Dang it, who did I say I was going to go to next? I'm so sorry, I forgot. I'm like scrolling back through the chat trying to see. Paige, you, yes, that's right, thank you. Okay, Paige, we're going to you. Graphic design. I don't feel bad that I'm not clicking on too many UX portfolios also, because I feel like there are so many, like all of the design YouTubers who have come up in the past few years, you know, there's like a great crew of, especially women on YouTube making content about UX design. So I feel like they're all there for you who need your UX portfolio reviewed. And I can be the one who's here for all the non-UX designers. I'll still help the UX people too, but yeah. Just talking myself into not feeling bad about it, I guess. And you're welcome, Gloria. I'm glad it was useful. And great work. Just keep it up, basically. Okay, Paige. Paige is looking for either freelance or full-time work in graphic design. You know what I'm going to say here, right? That this font is way too small. 14 pixels again? 13, even smaller. I don't think, yeah, no, we need this much larger. Let's jump in and like just bump this up so I can show you the difference here. Woo, what's happening here? Here we go. Whoa, okay, well now there's some funky like alignment going on with this. I would increase the font size. I would also increase the line height. Not that high. And not have this justification on it would be my advice. I'm just gonna refresh so that I good. I'm glad, Meg, as a product / UX designer, that you still find it interesting to look at the non-UX stuff. Yeah. Ralph says, do I consider myself a UI designer? Kind of. Like UI in the sense of the interface of a website. But mostly I consider myself a web designer. I'm a web designer and I use both UX and UI in my work as a web designer. And graphic design too, like it all comes together. But web is where I'm at. Okay, back to Paige's portfolio. So clients and full-time job. My first thought is like, I'm like, what's this W? And then I see down here, what a life worth creating. I'm like, interesting. Is this the studio name or something? This text is really hard to like focus on and read being so small. Okay, marketing campaigns. I think you could sum this up here, Paige, by saying that you're a marketing designer, honestly. That you work in marketing campaigns for seasonal services, brand recognition, product promotion, and more. That all just sounds like marketing to me. And that you have experience designing social media content too. Also sounds like marketing. I would advise you to make that your heading. Like kind of a UI designer. Honestly, Mylene, that would be a really interesting heading to see on a website. Okay, back to Paige. Yeah, I would advise you to, instead of saying the hello, I'm Paige Carlson, let's start with saying hello, I'm a marketing designer who can help you increase your brand recognition. Something like that. I don't know, like some sort of problem statement that you're solving. And I would probably lean more on the freelance side for this website and like think of yourself as speaking to clients, because any full-time job you get, there's probably similar problems you'll be solving for them as well. So yeah, let's do a better heading there. These product images feel quite busy, but I'm going to click into them and let's see. Like, it feels maybe a bit overworked, the product imagery, and perhaps it wouldn't feel that way if the text wasn't on top of them. I don't know, just like a thought. I love that you have the categories here though. I've called that out before. So that tells me that if I wanted to know your identity work, I click on this one. Ads, social, cool. Lexi, if you're trying to post a link, it probably, like, I think YouTube blocks links from being posted. Sorry. Okay. I agree, calligraphy. So much talent in this group. Okay, social media, paid and website sliders. It'd be nice to see a statement up here about, like, I don't know, any considerations or, like, challenges that you had with the design. Because this isn't showing me a whole lot, if that makes sense. I'm like, okay, yep, these look like graphics. But it's more interesting when you bring people in to the problem. This one's nice. I feel like a lot of the... Wait, is it going to go back to the other slider? I don't know. Yeah, this one felt quite busy, right? Like my eye is like, well, where do I focus? And I just see new. But I know that's a very common like style for this sort of like tech stuff. So perhaps that was a consideration that you had. Okay, let's see this one. Really small text here. This is even smaller than... Is this 11? 13 still. Oh, okay. I thought it felt smaller. Maybe it's just because it's black. I don't know. I feel like I'm not loving seeing this lorem ipsum in the mock-ups. It makes me think like, okay, did they not actually use these graphics in the end that we had to do a mock-up? Perhaps you could put in dummy copy below here or something like that. But I do kind of like that you're showing them in space, because it makes me think like, oh right, this was designed for an Instagram feed, you know. So that part's good, but let's just not use lorem ipsum. And I like that you've put text here, because that was what I was just advising on the last project. This is a nice mock-up. The overall quality of design here feels stronger than the first project. I would actually advise you to switch these around. And maybe even just call this project Electric Racing or something, because we've used the AVX here. But yeah, you always want to lead with your strongest work first. And personally for me, this project feels stronger, so I would advise putting that first, because it makes a better first impression. Okay, this is interesting. If web design is something that you want to get in and do more of, I would really advise you not to just have it be a footnote on the page. I need to see more detail. I'm like, okay, what was the redesign? What was your problems you were solving with this website? Yeah, what was the goals with it? Tell me a little bit about the process, the feedback, the research, whatever. Rather than it just being sort of a footnote, although it looks like it might be just a one-page website. I'm still really curious, and I feel like maybe we'll see on the about page what this What a Life thing is about. Yeah, like, is there more of a story you could tell with this page? Because this is an interesting... First of all, the design of this is super nice, and I like it better than the design of this Get in Touch or the design of this Hello, I'm Paige Carlson part. What is What a Life worth creating? Like, what is the concept behind that? Is there more of a story you can tell about that on the homepage, on your about page? That would be really interesting as a way to sort of like brand yourself as a freelance creative. But yeah, that would be my advice. And I think you need more work in your portfolio, whether that's freelance work or like mock projects. When it comes to things like social media, I feel like all the stuff has a very similar style to it, and if that's the kind you're going after, then that's cool, but it feels like that's at odds with your own personal branding, if that makes sense. Like, the designs of these projects are very technical, like I would say almost more like masculine in their design style, and then your website is a little more like, yeah, a little more feminine energy to it. And that kind of like the contrast is interesting, and it feels a little bit odd to me. So if this is the kind of work that you want to be doing, this very technical stuff, then I would lean into it and lean into that with your own branding on your site as well. But if not, then I would get some more projects in to show a bit more range of styles. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that's helpful, Paige. I think you said you had an interview coming up soon, so yeah, good luck. I'm sure you're going to do great. Lean into the storytelling side of things and like share your process in the interview for sure. Okay, we're going to do one more portfolio review, and then we will just chat a little until my voice runs out, which will probably be very soon. I'm going to choose, well, does anyone have like a case to be the last, okay, Mary's looking for graphic design jobs in the fashion industry. Mary, we're going to find your portfolio next. Okay. I found you. I used to work in the fashion industry myself, sort of, so let's see what we got here. So Mary is looking for either freelance or full-time design work, graphic design, and would love to be in the fashion design industry. Okay. Oh, there's so many of you. Okay. Lexi, did you submit in the form? All right, let's look at Mary's. So this is interesting. I like that you've used animation on your page. That instantly, like, it feels really engaging to me. And if you're going for marketing jobs, which is probably what a graphic design job would be in the fashion industry, that's good. Like, instantly you've made me feel engaged. I'm gonna click on this because this feels mostly like a fashion-y project. This is cool. One thing I will say is that we feel like we're leaning really on the photography side here. You didn't say that photography is what you wanted to get into. You said design, so I'm just going to give my feedback based on that. These are really cool photos, but I would say if you want to focus on design, I want to be seeing more stuff like this in amongst these photos. Like, yes, take the photo of yourself because it's a cool project in general, but put it in context of like a magazine layout or an ad. Like, pretend you're advertising this jacket, right? Like, how do you advertise this jacket in a banner on a website? Yeah, put it into design context if that is what you want to be doing. Because, you know, stuff like this that started off was a good example of design combining with the fashion photography. Let's come to this one. Is calling my name for some reason. Cool. So far I've clicked into 2 projects that both have a strong fashion connection to them. So if you're looking to get into the fashion industry for design, that's a great start, right? Like, you're already making that connections in my mind. So if I was a fashion industry person, then that's a good thing. This is nice mock-ups. I feel like I would like these images to be larger because I can't really see like any detail of the typography there. Nice. It'd be cool to see perhaps one of these in a feed, sort of like in Pages. Was it Page we were at last? Example. Just to like really cement in my mind that it's an Instagram post and to make it obvious visually instead of just reading the title. Oh right, we can click on these to see bigger, so could I have done that for these too? Okay, well, that's partly my bad, but also partly a UX bad, if that makes sense. Super nice. Cool. I feel like you've talked about the directions and like why you picked one that you did. Again, feedback that I've given on a lot of people's portfolios. I want to be able to just jump straight into the next project. Like, don't make it hard for me to see more of your work. You have these up here, but I'm like, I don't know what's next. Is next what I really want to look at? Though, also that's a way for you to curate my experience. If next is like the next one that you want me to look at, then that's cool too. This is a really good, simple challenge statement. Like, not having to read a whole lot. See, this feels very different though to the other type of work you did. So now I'm like, okay, is that really the best one to have up there at the top of your portfolio site, right? Like, hang on, wait, what happened there? Would this project here be better to have on the top row? Yes, because it's a look row featuring street style fashion. And I think that I would love for you to bring out these just to have them on the page more. Like, I don't know, carousel is, I didn't notice that was a carousel to start with. I think because it was that first, yeah, the arrows were sort of like blending into the design here. So just watch that. Yeah, I would suggest moving this one up to being on the top row of your portfolio instead of the children's book, because you're wanting to go after fashion. So yeah, just be super aware of that. Overall, I like the, yeah, it seems like you have a good, strong, like different design styles and that you're super creative. So that's awesome. And it seems like you haven't done any like IRL work for the fashion industry yet, but you've got great examples of projects that sort of show me, if I was in the fashion industry, that you could fit right in and design for that sort of thing. So that's great. Just think about the structure of the order of your projects, Mary. Okay, one more. We're gonna go to, is this one Lexi's? Oh, I'm gonna do one, like I said one more, but I saw that Mike had submitted, and so I definitely want to get to Mike's. Okay, Alessius. I'm assuming this is you, Lexi, because you said you just submitted. And this one was just submitted? I don't know. Okay. I like this sideways text. And this is a solution for the below the fold thing as well, that I can scroll down to see more. So yeah, this is a good way to get your nice clean intro page, but also work that I can see very quickly, which is a problem that we've talked about before. Cool. I like this diagonal lines we got going on here. It's super nice. Cool, so I see that there's a couple of examples of projects. I'm going to click into the first one. Okay. I would say that the intro line to this project, like, is this really the most interesting thing we can lead with? Is it the most important thing that someone knows that you did this in 2019 during an internship? Or is it more important to know, like, a little bit about what the brief was for this project? Yeah. I just spilled water all down my face. Did you see that? I was trying to read the chat while also drinking at the same time. What a fucking idiot. This is what happens 2.5 hours into a stream. Yes, and Talbot, we're reviewing Lexi's now. While I like rub my lipstick all over the place. Okay. Yeah, you know, let's lead with a more interesting part of this project, I think. And I'm guessing when you say cards, you mean... Oh, are they all cards? I don't know. I like that you've explained it in English for me as well. I think that's important. I feel like I want to know, like, what was the result of this would be good to know. And maybe like seeing these a little bigger or something, I don't know. Could be good. But overall, I feel like you've got a nice, like the design of this thing feels nice. And you have the more projects here for me to click to, which I like. Okay, so here's a good example of like where we can pull a more interesting intro line to. Helping patients, giving patients more certainty on expected waiting time, something like that, would be a stronger statement to open with, because then I know I'm like, okay, that is what this design is trying to solve straight away, rather than like reading this whole thing about it, if that makes sense. I like this animation as well. That's always nice to see. Interesting. Stuff they can do while they're waiting. I think this is quite a good product tour, honestly, that you've chosen. I know there's more to the app than this, but you've chosen some little bits to point out to me. And so I don't know, I just think, perhaps the design of this isn't super strong in general, like the UI visual design, but it's showing me some really creative thinking behind it, which is nice to see. Yeah, for sure. Let's go look. Do you have an about page? A bio page? Still love this. Nice ampersand. I think maybe it might be getting a little old to have it on every page. Like maybe it's just a homepage thing, you know? Because when I click on bio, when I click into a project, I specifically want to get into the details of that project. I don't need to be welcomed as such like this anymore. And I think it could make it stronger if it was only on the homepage. Cool photo. Nice. I like that you've bolded the, yeah, your experience there. Super easy to scan. Did you say you were looking for, let's see, full-time job? Okay, cool. Yeah. So view my CV is the perfect thing to link to there. Yeah, that's great. I would say that send an email or something would be better if it was clients that you were going after. Cool. I really wanted to review Mike's. Let's get in and look at Mike's. Mike is a very regular in the Twitch streams, so that's why he's getting preferential treatment right now. Okay, and you literally just wrapped it up. I love that. Okay, cool. So, love these lines. Wait, we've got to read Mike's. Mike's looking for a full-time job as a designer and is looking to work in product design with a visual focus, graduated in boot camp this week. Oh, nice, and about to submit this exact portfolio review, applying it to jobs as soon as next week. Cool. Okay, well, this is perfect time to come in and review it then, huh, Mike? This is a fantastic CTA. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to see when I click on this, but it's interesting. It's the kind of thing that, I don't know, can really... Stuff like this is just so nice to see when you're reviewing literally hundreds of portfolios for a design job. It's like, this is something different, you know? It's like, prove it. All right, yeah, prove it to me. Okay, I'm going to say that it was slightly underwhelming that all it did was scroll me down to the next section. And I wonder, do you have a separate work page? It could be nice if you had a separate work page to take me to, just so it feels like it was more worth it to click on this or something. I don't know, but I like that it's there. I think that this is good. Okay, let's take a look at Mike's first project. See, here we go. So this is in action what I've been saying for a couple of portfolios. It's calling out what the problem is that you're solving. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, you were the designer and the UX researcher. I like that you've bolded certain pieces. I'm not sure why the solution is sort of tucked in here though. Was it just to make sure that the text line wasn't too, line notes weren't too long? This feels a little odd. Cool, it's nice knowing what you were going for, and this also tells me that, okay, you did work on the branding as well. That's interesting. Nice, I think this is cool too. And that you're showing me a glimpse as well. Okay. What is going to happen if I click on this? Okay, it's just going to open. I had a slight hesitation in clicking this because I was like, oh, is it gonna take me to another page? Do I have to like hold down my command button to open it in a different tab? You know? I don't know if these need to be collapsed. Like, there's hardly any information in here. It feels like it's making me do a lot of work, even though clicking is not that much work, you know what I mean, for little payoff to see this. Like maybe having these as like 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, like stacked, could be better. But yeah, I like that you've had jump links to go to each section as well, but we'll quickly scroll through. You did competitor analysis. Is this a Webflow site? Yeah, it is, because it's on a Webflow domain. This is a nice use of scrolling animations. Okay, you got insights. Again, I'm just calling out like what goes through my head seeing that. Here I feel like there's a little too much bolded. I think, you know, bolding the important stuff is good, but here like it falls down when you've bolded a lot. So then I just feel like I have to read all of it to understand the context. Okay, those are personas by the looks of it. Okay, I know that would be important if it was an iOS job you're applying for. Oh, nice. That's interesting. What section are we in here? Design. Okay, right. Maybe I would split it out into like the brand design and then the app design as sections to jump to, because I think that someone looking to hire an app designer in particular would just want to skip straight to this section probably. I like that you've included results, but I can't see what were the results. This feels like a bit redundant. I'm like, okay, when it's proven successful. Was it not? Like, are we still waiting on that? Like, of course you wouldn't go ahead and build the thing if it wasn't successful. I don't know. This is the more interesting part. This feels maybe a little redundant. Yeah, I think we could cut down some copy here, Mike. Like, participants were excited to get involved. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if that adds to, doesn't make you a better designer that the participants were excited to get involved, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if this is a core reason that would lead to being hired. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Thanks for joining, Meg, and thanks for letting us review your portfolio. Okay, this is good though, that you're pulling out these core things. This is the interesting part. And I think that you've got to be careful that basically any text you put on your site in your portfolio, you have to be sure it's like important to be read. And it's like, if someone is skimming and I only read this line, this doesn't give me as much value as this does, right? So you need to be doing everything to make sure that this is the bits that I focus on, is that Mike pays attention to data and was able to synthesize these results from a test. That is more important to me than knowing that people are excited to take part in it. Yeah. Cool, and iterations. This is good to see. Maybe I would want to see called out here, like exactly what you changed, like pointed out a little bit. Could be good. Or like bullets. Bullets is always good. Anytime you can put something in bullets instead of a paragraph, it's more easy to read. It's going to be more easily skimmable. Cool. Let's look at one more quickly. Okay. I would maybe, because my first thought here was like, okay, I know Mike said he was just finishing a boot camp, so really? He's already worked at Squarespace though? Maybe lead with a concept project for Squarespace at the top here. It's good that you called it out, but like, we don't have to be afraid to say when something is a concept project, because people figure it out in the end anyway. So I think you should say it at the top, just so that I'm not misled, even for a couple of seconds, you know, until I get to this point. Let's see. Brief solution, yep. Is this the same thing again? Yep, just a couple of things. Interesting to me, Mike. So you said that you wanted to have a visual focus in doing product design. And I do feel like right now it's very much a research UX focus is what I'm seeing from you. This could mean calling out the details of your design more, like highlighting certain elements and things like that. Maybe not for this project because it's Squarespace, so that I'm assuming you were using existing styles and things like that. But yeah, leaning on that a little bit more to show the visual side would be a good idea. And yeah, I don't know if, see, this is another, where was it? An example of something that's not really necessary to explain. Like, I don't need to know that you don't have their font. Like, that's not the point of this project, right? To use the exact right font. So just read through and check that absolutely everything that you're talking about here is necessary to be included. Overall, the design of the site is really nice though. I think it's interesting, and although the flow feels very similar to a usual UX case study, I think you've done interesting things to try and make it not so similar. So yeah, great job. Like, this overview here at the start is particularly nice. Yeah, and calling out what the solution is. I think that's really good. Now, Mike doesn't have an about page, which is interesting. Oh, you said you were working on that. I remember that from the chat just before. So yeah, we'll be excited to see that, and I hope you bring some of the same, character that you've done here to it. Some people, I don't know, some people hate on this sort of style of things in portfolios, but I love it. I think it's cool. I think it's really interesting. And like I said, like the prove it button, just wish that it had more of a payoff. Okay, we're gonna switch back to camera view now, because I think I'm portfolio reviewed out for the day. So I'm really, really sorry that I didn't get to yours, but maybe you can feel content in the knowledge that there was probably about 70 people that I didn't get to, so it's not like you were the only one that I didn't review, if that makes sense. But it's clear that you're all interested in this, and yeah, Penguin Shirley, hopefully next time. And I'll hopefully remember which ones I reviewed and make sure that we pick different ones next time. And I do also notice the people who show up to these things, like Mike. We reviewed Mike's because I have been chatting to Mike on Twitch for a while, so yeah, wanted to make sure that I got his in there. So if you show up next time, Penguin Chili, I will remember your username and we'll make sure that we do yours next time. How about that? Yeah. Yeah, any last questions before we end? Camilla asked, where's my hoodie from? This is some McLaren merch. This is Daniel Ricciardo, Formula One merch. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I can't believe that we've been going for nearly 3 hours. I don't know if anyone has been here since the start, but yeah, hope you enjoyed this. This is what I'm doing instead of uploading a video this week. I'm sort of like, you saw me make a video live. Ooh, I saw someone before ask where my chair is from. This is a Herman Miller mirror chair. I bought it secondhand. If you can find one secondhand, it's a great buy. Brand new, they're a little too pricey. Is Coffee with Charlie series over, or is there more coming up? There is more coming up. Yeah, I filmed one with Rami from Glossier the other week, which was really fun because I'm a huge fan of that brand. And we also have Shopify coming up as well. I need to film that one. So yeah, there's more coming. It's just that, I have a full-time job and my own content and stuff that I'm working on. So the Figma people have been very patient with me in making that series. But yeah, glad to know that you're interested in seeing more of it. How to handle NDA projects. Yeah, if you can send a password through to with your job application to the people who you're applying for a job with, that's a great way to get around it. And just share as much as you can. Like, I believe it was it Meg's portfolio where there was an NDA project, but she was able to show some screenshots. It's like, something's better than nothing. Yeah. Cool. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, Shark, even if your portfolio wasn't reviewed. Maybe we'll get into yours next time. Would you pay much for a domain name for your portfolio site? How much is much, Dan? Like, what URL have you got your eye on? I wouldn't pay a whole lot, but the most expensive domain I own is our designlife.fm domain for our podcast. .fm domains cost like 100 and something bucks per year. Yeah, but most of my domains are very cheap, just .coms or .cos. All right, I think we'll wrap it up here. I'll go drink some water and stop talking for a while, and also eat some dinner because it is now nearly 8 p.m. here in Spain. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Just one last pitch to please go follow me on Twitch, or if you follow me on Twitter, then I always tweet out when I'm streaming. You don't need a Twitch account to watch or anything like that. But yeah, that's where I always say when I'm going live, and I do design streams where you just get to watch me work on a project. And sometimes I play games too. I might do a game stream tomorrow, play some Animal Crossing. And we'll do more of these as well. I'm not going to promise a win, but we'll try for another one in a few weeks' time. How about that? Maybe on a weekend next time. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Yeah, Gautham, there was a form that you would submit to review your portfolio, and we'll do the same thing again next time. I like to make sure that I'm prioritizing looking at people who are actually here. So if I hang on, wait, I'm just going to get rid of that person. Yeah, if I accept applications in advance for portfolio reviews, then people might not be here, and I want to prioritize the people who are here. All right. We'll have more questions. Is a website really required? We did cover this. Is Google Drive work the same way? Please don't just send a Google Drive with images of your work. You can do a better job to present your work. Even if you send a Google Drive link to a PDF is better than just a Google Drive folder of images. That's not doing your work any favors to just present a folder of images like that. All right, with that, we will end here. Thank you for joining. Thanks for hanging out with me all of this time. And I'll see you on the next one, I guess. All right. Bye. How do I end this stream? Here we go.